What's up? What's up? I'm really bored. It's like so hard to find a good conversation on TikTok now during the day. I think um Beyond got me real spoiled. I do not be wanting to hear people just talking. So it sort of sucks when you're waiting on him. His ass live. What's up, Rebel? You know, Rebel, I met you on my burner page. This my real page right here. This the page I be on for real. What's up? How you been doing? I see you be hosting prompts. You need to come up here and tell me how to do that. How y'all be making them prompts? Cause I sure don't know how. My cousin be making them for me. How you been? I need to learn how to do all this shit. It's just that I just be wanting to have a conversation and just conversation about anything. And it's just damn, when you on other people's lives, you have to sort of you have to cater to them and the way they run their lives. You be using chat, GPT. I just asked them to create me a prompt. Them motherfuckers, let me tell you what they told me. Chat EBT playing. What they tell me, they said something about Chat EBT can't create a post for a specific demographic or a specific. Do you got the app or the specific like political group? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see. I see. I'm just working really. I just be wanting to like have some like a conversation, but damn man, it's so hard on TikTok. You gotta word it in a way that's not politically correct. That's funny. That's funny. I see. So do you got the app or do you just use Google? Thank you. I just be wanting to have a conversation. It really don't be hard work. It's just as soon as you disagree with somebody, don't disagree with the host. That's like a cardinal sin in somebody else's life because they not gonna let you talk. I use Google on my computer. Oh, okay. So what they only give you a certain amount of time to use the prompt to ask for a prompt. You be having good topics too though. That's what's up. I really just wanna I really just chilling. I'm waiting on Beyond. Really. That's who I be waiting on to do it. At least we get a conversation from him. I just used the old prompt because I don't have another prompt. We really could talk about anything. I just can't stand that all that just random ass talking, random ass interrupting. That shit. Oh, I think people feed it. People love that shit. They like a live where it's just chaotic and they talking over each other. They yelling over each other. They like that shit. Cause as soon as you tell them that nah, you can't do that in this live, I'm gonna give you a chance to respond. Damn, they don't want to do that. They disconnect after that. That shit is crazy. It's annoying as fuck. That's for sure. And it's not productive. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing like morning shows because Beyond, he be up all night and then he let me see what he doing. I really just be wanting to have a conversation, man. It's so hard to find that shit on TikTok. What's up, Flex? I just joined you. What you doing, Flex? You on the live? Are they having a productive conversation? Cause if not, I can go to the live you in. It's just like, damn, I can't find a conversation on TikTok. Oh, somebody. Uh, Flex, what are we gonna do? I'm bored. I thought you was in the TikTok live. I saw you was online. I really don't want to talk about that. That's just the only prompt that my cousin had made me a long time ago. So I just put that up there. Um, I'm really bored. It's like I'm working, but I want a conversation while I work, like a decent conversation. And like every live I've been into, it's just random ass talking, random ass, interrupting. Just five people talking at one time. I don't understand it. Or somebody can be in the middle of a thought and you just come off mic and start fucking talking. I cannot stand that shit. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do. I know. But like I do believe like we have good I see I think Beyond got me spoiled. Beyond got me talk where I'm used to one person talking. You gonna mute up, you gonna wait till somebody call on you. When I get in the live and they start talking over each other, it's five people talking. That shit irritates my soul. For real. It really does. It's annoying. What is that lady? What is that client's name? Yeah, I know. I know. It's so unproductive. Like, unless you. Yeah, but you gotta have a conversation first, right? I mean, damn. Like, if they won't let you get a question out. They won't let you get an answer out. They won't let you speak. I mean, it's very counterproductive. What's up, Divine? I hate that. That's why I be in and out. That's why I be in and out. Then they be so disrespectful. But they feel like they can be disrespectful. They can cut you off because they the host. And I'm like, but you interrupting me disagreeing with some shit that I'm not even arguing. Well, it's just unproductive. I hate that shit. I like a conversation. Damn, somebody got 50 years for their fifth DUI? Damn, I mean, 5 is crazy, but that still sounds like a lot. I'm bored. Um, I'm waiting on Beyond. I don't know what to do. What you doing? Look at I ain't even gonna say that. What you up to? I know. I know. What you think? What you think about the prompt? You think black women respect black men? What you think, Flex? What you think? You think? I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I think we got it real bad. So disrespectful. And then you try to call us out on some shit. You try to correct us on some shit. Man, you better not try to correct no black woman on some shit. Good luck. Now you disrespectful. Now you hate women. Now you hate your mom. Yeah, I agree they used to. We dealing with a whole different woman now. Just no fucking respect. They ain't got no respect for other women though. They don't respect each other. We don't respect each other. This shit is crazy. And we just beyond reproach. That is what's the crazy is that we are beyond reproach. We can't be corrected on nothing. 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 It's crazy. So disrespectful, undisciplined. The shit is crazy. I agree. I agree. But if you can't tell one group something, then how do we expect to correct the behavior? You know what I mean? Like, how do we plan on doing it if y'all niggas are beyond reproach? If can't nobody say nothing to y'all, otherwise it turns into a screaming match. A black man can't talk without you interrupting them. Like earlier today, I was on a live. It was me. The host was a black man. It was me, a black man, and another black woman, and like four other white men, and we were like having a conversation about the race issue in America. Man, when I mean to tell you, we sit on the live. We're really trying to have a decent conversation with these people, right? I don't mean to tell you, every time she come on mute, it's just disrespect, non-productive. Like, it was just like, I was just like, damn, girl. Every time she came off mute was like, just so disrespectful and interrupting. Somebody can be talking, she come off mute just to interrupt. Come off mute to interrupt the host is crazy work. It's just, I just don't know what we gonna do about these fucking women. Not all of us, but some of us is bad. I be so fucking annoyed. Cause I don't know. I feel like I just assume that everybody can act like an adult. To me, it ain't no such thing as I can't stop talking. Zero home training, Flex. Zero home training. I hate that shit. Like, of course, like maybe one time, like maybe somebody talking and you want to throw something in there really quick, and all of that. But like, you would have like the live would be completely silent other than this person talking, and somebody will intentionally unmute themselves to interrupt. I'd be like, bro, what is that? Zero home training. Zero home training. Then it's just like, okay, like, can he finish? Like, can he finish? Then it's like interruption again. It's just so unproductive. I can't stand it. That's why I hate it. That's why it's so hard for me to find a live. Cause as soon as y'all start talking over each other, I'm over it. As soon as y'all start interrupting each other, I'm over it. Cause I don't understand why you just can't close your, like, not talk when other people are talking. It's just crazy to me. No home training. They got home training. They just feel like a motherfucker can't say nothing to them. Can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't fucking know. That shit wild. I hate that shit though. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I be sitting here waiting on Beyond to go live. so we can at least get a conversation. At least a conversation going. Damn, I got 140 fucking emails. That is fucking crazy. What's this bitch's name? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we gonna do, Flex. The shit just, I don't know what we gonna do. I don't know what black people gonna do. I don't want to argue with Africans and Caribbeans. I don't want to do that. Man, I got so many lives right now. People arguing with Caribbeans, arguing with Africans, doing all of that. I ain't doing none of that. I just don't want to hear it. It's just not a productive conversation. Like, damn. Blake said no home training. That's for sure. That is for sure. I don't know. I just, I used to go live a lot. Before I used to go on them panels, because at first when I spent my first year on TikTok, not on going on panels. I didn't do that. But it's all good now. I ain't tripping. It's a nice, What's up, Flex?
What's up with you, Solo?
I'm chilling.
Yeah,
What you out shopping to get?
man, trying to grab me some new kicks. The ones I have, it's about time. Trying to upgrade, trying to get on your level.
Shit, I'm bored as shit. I'm bored as fuck.
Yeah,
Man, how was work today?
talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, things is going. Things is moving. Could be moving fast enough. Everything is moving. But yeah, though, to the prompt that you was talking about earlier, I do see you be up on panels. I'll be like, man, how do Solo do it? Because they like to have these echo chambers where if you don't spin the same narrative, it's not like you can talk your perspective. Then they'll just shut you up, start talking over you, kick you down, throwing you out. That's why it's hard for me to get up on people's panels too, because I can't. I'm like, man. Then they screaming over each other. They act like you can't handle real conversation. Like, man, making a stereotype about black folks so true publicly. I hate that.
No, seriously, for real. Like you cannot. That's one thing I've learned. Like you cannot disagree with BLK people. It turns into a whole argument. Now you dumb. Now you ignorant. I be like, damn. All I said is we need to stop voting Democrat. That's all I said, and now I'm fucking ignorant. Now I'm dumb, and now I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. It's crazy. You cannot disagree with us. No, but they don't be really wanting to have a conversation. They want somebody to, they want a group of people that's gonna sit on live and agree with them. They don't want to, they don't want to see it from a different perspective. I think that they take that as you challenging them, just having
Yeah.
a difference of opinion.
But even when you present a logical argument, like I do agree with you. Number one, I kind of think the Republicans and the Democrats are just two wings of the same bird. Given that, I do think Republicans is much better than the Democrats. If I have to compare the two, if I have to make a comparison, I would say that they're much better than the Democrats. But then if you look at historically speaking, what have the Democrats provided that has helped black folks? Like nothing. Like they make false promises, and I think that I hate those type of racist people on the Democrat side, because what they do is they hide their racism behind smiles, politeness, and fake promises. So for me, I rather, if you're gonna be racist, just be straight up with it. I rather know what you coming with, what you stand your ground. And I don't really think you see that amongst Democrats. So for me, I definitely agree with you. Um, I
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'll go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No. I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, no, I completely agree. I think black people are more conservative if they think about it. It's just that we're so like they want. I guess like I think we're more conservative than anything. I think we're more traditional than anything. I think a lot of us like really conform to all these policies the Democrats are going with. It's just that we're so like scared to work with them because we think they're racist. Now I ain't saying the Republicans are just this great party that we need to march our way to, but like I just find it irritating that we don't even want to ask the Democrats for anything. Like it's black people. Like are
That's
you
true.
we won't even you get beat up asking for something. How dare you ask for something from the Democrats? And it's just like, they say they trying to take our voting power away. And it's like, but we give it away voluntarily
That
without
is true.
consequences. So it's just kind of like, which one is it? Is voting the most important thing to us? Then why we just give it away? You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree
So
with you.
just have a
I definitely agree with
conversation.
you. But but I think even before we get, because we have a lot of fake people, and I hate to say this, you do have people who leech on Black Americans' plight in order to position themselves in power, politically speaking. And I think a lot of us is not together. And since this is why I always speak about, the Black American woman and Black American men coming together, I say their survival depends on it, because when you're a unit, you become to think you begin to think collectively, not individually. And when you think collectively, you can move things, you can move bigger obstacles out of your way going forward. And I think part of it is by design. The other part of it is what I hate. And I see some, Black American men who will go out there and just talk, a bunch of trash about Black American women. But what I do see on the women's side is they're a little bit louder. Like I've been on TikTok last week, and I'll see a lot of Black American women be on TikTok with maybe 3 or 4 guys who are white, a white tee, and they would say things like, "Oh, the black, these black guys or Black American guy, they're just so despicable. We need white tee people. You guys treat us this way. You're that, and the third." And they start bigging up. Well, it's nothing wrong if a Black American woman falls in love with a white tee man. I have zero issue with that whatsoever. If it love, but why do you have to beat down on your men in order for that relationship to work? Why can't you do it without beating down on it? And they had a panel up here. It was just so disgusting to me, because they were all up there one after the other, and it was just literally beating down on some Black American men. I'm saying, well, majority of men, you're not talking about the educated ones. You're not talking about those who trying to progress, those who want to do right by you. You're not talking about those, but you're speaking about as if your father is this way or your uncle is this way, because if you're going to put all of them in this one bucket, then you're including your own family members. And for me, I take issue. Same way I take issue with men. If a black guy is dating outside of his race, he's dating a white tea, a Spanish, whatever, you don't have to talk bad on your people in order for that relationship to work. For me, that really grinds my gears when I see that.
No, I agree. I've seen it too, and I've seen it too, and I mean I don't know what we get. I mean, of course we have issues with black women. Of course, black men are gonna have issues with us. Like, but why does it have to? If you want to date outside your race, just do that. Like, you don't have to necessarily put the race down. Like, of course, you haven't met every black man, right? And
That's
of
true.
course, black men have never met every black woman. So to generalize this at the behest of our oppressor is crazy.
Very, very, very crazy. Like I seen a one video is going viral, and they were even beating up on this black woman because she was talking about she's going viral on TikTok. She was talking about black women need to start, being impressed with who they are internally and not using outside validation. She was going about the hair and all of this stuff. And she was like, they was like, "Oh, you just hate and look at you, such a hater." And it was just beating up on her because she was saying, well, how can we have unity if you're still looking outside of yourself to validate your beauty, rock your natural hair? And I'm thinking to myself, and I know this is going to piss a lot of Africans and foreigners off, but we are the world most influential people on earth in terms of our music, our culture, how we dress, our riz, everything. So we don't need anything outside of ourselves to make us more than who we already are to the world. And I know yourself, you travel different places just like me. Like about a month ago, I was in Egypt. The other month, I was in Turkey. Then I was in South Africa. I travel a lot to different countries and stuff. And you experience that. So for me, I'm like, why y'all putting down this woman when she's just trying to better the community? She's trying to say, well, we can unify, but we have to have some standard. And what's the standard we're going to use in terms of unity? And a lot of people don't get it. They don't get the extra 3 steps ahead. People just see the now, what they're experiencing now, but they don't see 3 steps ahead. And for me, that really gets me, because I'm like, man, we could do so much better. We could do so much better. We don't have to commit to the stereotype of all black people just ghetto. They can't hold a high IQ conversation. And that's one of the reasons I like the Beyond show, is because what he's doing with that show is he's proven that black folks, you can have black folks in a room and they can be intelligent. They can have these deep conversations that's based on facts. They can substantiate their claims based on evidence and logic. And other panels are showing like, well, no, 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 we don't need to do that. I don't care. I'm gonna be me. Like, you gotta have some decorum, home training, and it's just really messed up, to say the least.
I agree, man. I agree. It's just like, for me, I think a lot of times we don't want to make changes because we're very comfortable with what it is that we're doing, no matter how detrimental it is. Very
True.
comfortable.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. And I think the biggest mistake for black folks in this country is we think that we no longer slaves. And I hate to say that. The plant is the new plantation. The jails is the new plantation. We're financially in bondage. We're politically handicapped. We have people who come from other countries who just position themselves in political power. They will say that, oh, that we don't deserve reparation. You have like Byron and many other people from different countries. They disrespect us, and we see them putting these people in position to undermine what our ancestors fought for. And a lot of us don't really see it because we think we're free. Oh, I could do whatever I want to do. No, you can't. Racism, not racism, slavery has just been repackaged. It has been repackaged and it has been positioned in such a way to make us think that we're free, but we're not. And a lot of us, if we don't really understand that, because if you think that you're free, then you would never fight to be really free, because you feel like you're already free. And I think a lot of us need to get out of that mindset, because there's so much that we need to fight for collectively. Like, we need to bring doctors within our ears. Like, we need to big up engineers in our communities, doctors in our communities, people who have the forethought, the mindset to take us forward. And we don't invest in that. And for me, that's a bigger issue than voting. That's a bigger issue than position yourself with being a Democrat or a Republican. Because now when you can come to the table with not only your opinions, but you come into the table with tangibles, then they have to look at you differently. And our ancestors had it. We're talking about our ancestors. We're talking people who would study law dictionaries, law books, and then, challenge people who go to these big universities and they weren't privy to, and be able to go head to head with these individuals. We have lost that. We have lost the thirst for information. We have lost the thirst to be at the top like other people. And for me, it's very sad. It's very sad.
I agree. I agree. I think that we've lost that independence, like the need to be, the
Exactly.
want to be independent. Like, we want to rely on YT people to birth our kids and give
Yeah.
us food and educate our kids. Like, that's one of the worst things that we could be doing right now, is letting YT America educate our kids, and then wonder why they can't read and they still learning that Christopher Columbus
Exactly.
discovered America. Like,
Yeah.
we're just so comfortable, and I agree. We don't realize that we're still under a system, because I can go buy Gucci, I can go buy some Jordans, I can go live where the white people live. Like we feel like we're free, and it's just like we're not though.
Yeah.
We're not.
And I mean, if you look at it, if you look at Black Americans, if you put us under a microscope, we are the entertainment for the world, whether it's to athletes, whether it's to movies, entertaining, stand-up comedy, singing, rapping. That is our main stage position in the world, and to me that's kind of sad because we should be in the decision making in terms of our growth, our potential, whether it's politically, financially, or otherwise. You would hope or expect for us to be positioned that way, even though I know systemically everything is against us, but there's so much in our in the evolution of our mindset that needs to happen as well. And I don't think it's happening because we don't see it. We don't really see it. And for me, that's just sometimes I sit back and I look and say, you know what can I do to bring us to where we need to be? And this is something they don't want to. Like, we'll speak to what you said earlier. If you look at the schools, over 80% of the schools, the teachers that are teaching our children as Black Americans are white. They have no interest, no incentive to make these children the future. Why would they? Why would they teach them financial literacy? Let's think about it. Why would they teach them the real history of their ancestors and what they've accomplished here, the inventions, the innovations, the contributions, all of those things that our ancestors have brought forth, which they hide in the back of history books, and some are not even taught in universities at this point. Why would they teach them that? Because that will free the mind. That will give them some type of hope to be better. A lot, like you look at the illiteracy rate with Black children in this country, a lot of them can't read. A lot of them don't know basic arithmetic. I'm not even talking about algebra and trigonometry and all of the other science, math subjects. I'm just talking about the basics. It is for the detriment of ourselves, but it's also for the benefit of the white people, and also for the benefit of other groups that are coming to this country. And if you go back in history and you look at when Black American, when our ancestors, like for example, I come from a long line in my own family. My grandmother was a high school teacher. Her great grandmother taught. They were teaching even during segregation. They were teaching way back from the 1800s, 1900s. Some of them were secretly teaching in certain homes when they didn't have certain rights. So education has always been something that has been important, and they wanted to see the children be the future. We no longer even care about that. We send our children to school and just say, you know what, forget it. Go ahead and get your high school diploma, whatever, come out. We don't care if you actually learn something. We don't care if you actually have the tools to move forward. And to me, it's just horrible. It's sad.
And I agree. I don't think these teachers have any incentive because, well, imagine this. You think I'm going to educate this Black child so he can compete with my kids
Never.
when he grow up? So he can be competing for that college admission, competing for that business position. Like, they're never going to care. Like, it's crazy to me that we would even think that these teachers would even care enough to educate our kids properly.
That's very true. And the flip side to that too is some of the parents don't care to be a parent to their children. They if there's there because there are schools where you have Black teachers, but a lot of these parents say, you don't say nothing to my kid, you can't discipline them, I don't care. And they, like, when I was growing up, my parents was on the teacher side, not on my side, unless the teacher did something like really horrible. So that way we had to come and we had to get whatever the teacher was trying to give us. But now you have the flip side to that. A lot of them are smacking the teachers. A lot of them are going to schools with no home training, and the parents are sitting there supporting their children for that behavior. So that's the other side of it too. Like, and they don't care. They literally just don't care. And they don't understand what type of, harm they're bringing to their child and destroying the future generations of children that we need in this country in order to grow. That's the other side of it. And that's sad. I know a lot of immigrants will come and say, see, I told you, you guys are this and the third. y'all don't want to have these conversations, but I'm the type of person is I believe that conversations like we're having now should be only had with Black Americans. This is our issues, our problems. The same way when, we're talking about a white tea person unaliving one of our own. And they say, well, you unalive people daily. What does that have to do with outsider unaliving us? What if we use the same argument against them? You guys unalive each other, so why do you care if a BLK person unalive one of your own? They would say, well, that's different. But this is, I'm not trying to change the conversation, but I'm saying this is similar to that type of thinking.
No, I agree. I completely agree. I think that they try to bring it up because they don't. It's almost insulting, right? Because it's kind of like, don't worry about when we unalive you. Worry about when y'all unalive us, and it's just kind of like, what? What really? Like what really? No, I completely agree. It's unfortunate when it really comes to these schools things. The schools have gotten worse. I remember when I started college, like I was so behind like other kids because I grew up in Memphis and like Memphis City schools was like terrible when I went.
Oh yeah,
And
shout
I
out to
was so
Memphis.
yeah, I was so behind compared to like other people who had came from other states. So I could only just imagine what it's like now. They don't even have books. Like my nieces, them don't have books. Like when they come home from school, I'm like, "Where are your guys' books?" They got like loose paper that's been stapled together like worksheets, and it's just kind of like I know this can't be what the education like. I see this is my thing. I wouldn't want any black child in the public education system. I would say Black America have their own education system, a private school that don't receive no money from the government. We is fully paid for by us,
I
and
agree.
that's where our kids are educated. Just like the ish people, the tiny hats, they
Yes.
kids ain't in public school learning what we learning.
Yes.
Absolutely
Right.
not. No, no. That's the worst thing we could be doing is letting our kids be educated. And I mean, and it's terrible. It's not like they're getting like stellar education either. Like they're
Nope.
getting like very bad. And it's just, and then I agree. Nowadays, my mom was always on the teacher's side, and this may be a different generation. Because right now, like, I have people my age, their kids are like 16 and 15. So you have people really like 33, 34, 35. That's kind of like raising kids nowadays. And then it's just like a different generation. I don't think that they pass down what their parents, like, they didn't raise,
Value. Yeah.
they didn't raise their parent. They're not raising their kids like our parents raised us. You know what I mean? And that's just reflective in their behavior.
That is very true. But I keep hearing this argument that people make amongst the black community. They would say, well, we're not our schools is not funded the way white schools are funded, therefore our education can't be on the same level. But then I go and I look back in history when we were coming up through slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, all and during this era, we had less textbooks, we had less to go with, but yet those people are much more educated than this generation today. So my thing is it has to do with the teachers. Those teachers were more invested in their own because they knew the importance of education. Nowadays, like I said, most black people work a 9 to 5 at a plant. Plant is short for plantation. They're back on the plantation, and if they don't work, even the judge will put them back in prison, which is also another form of plantation and bondage. I call the prison system bondage, and I call the factories plantations. So it is in their favor, in their interest to keep black folks uh not educated, because if they're too educated, then they have to give up some of their jobs, and they're never looking towards equality. They don't want us to be equal. They don't want us to have jobs, with high earnings. So therefore, those teachers who are teaching them, I think is the government is telling them, you know what, keep them, just pass them, give them a high school diploma. They don't need to know anything. So it's when I look at it that way, it just, the only way to come out of that. And I'm one person who don't support Dr. Umar. I don't support him. I think he's a fake. I think he's a fraud. I think he's a detriment to black folks. I think his ideology doesn't work. But the only part I do agree with is the fact that he believed that there should be black teachers teaching black children because they will have the interest. That part I agree with him. Everything else he's trying to do in terms of his school, I disagree totally against that. I'm not, I don't know if you know my position, but I'm completely against Pan Africanism, because it is an ideology that doesn't really work. Because if it did work, then we would see it working on a continent first. And since we don't see it working over there, then how can we, think it's going to work here? How you gonna get people who are fighting each other, kicking people off of their own territory with these fake borders, will somehow come here and we all unite? Unite on what? On the basis of what? The unity, there has to be some type of transaction. There's no transaction. So there's no unification if there's nothing to, it's not like they're giving us a resource and we're providing them with another resource and we're unifying on those type of resources. That doesn't work. So I'm against Pan-Africanism. I do think if other groups respect us, our similarities and our differences, then we can unify in terms of the things that are keeping us all behind. But that's a different conversation. But going back to Dr. Umar Johnson, the fact that he believed that there should be black teachers teaching black children, I agree wholeheartedly with that position.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think that back in the day, we were like, we knew we had to be way better than our competition. We realized that we were in competition. I feel
Yeah.
like aside from like all of the unaliving and the brutality that we experienced against white America, we probably was living better lives than we were now. Like we had two parent households, we're having kids, like we were making large families, like we could really was it really homeless like that. Like I just feel like when we had to rely on each other, all of us were able to eat. Like, of course, we probably make more money, but we have a lot of people who are struggling, and I think that's one of the issues that we have is like we have black people who make money, and so they feel like they don't, oh, there's no racism because I was able to make it. I got a good job, I got this, that, and the other, but they don't really think about the rest of the race. They only really thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They get to rub elbows with YT people, so they get to live where YT people live, and so that means the race is good. I remember being in South Africa, and I was on my way home in an Uber, and I was talking to this South African, and he was like bragging to me about, how good we have it in America, and I'm like, sir, if it's 40 million of us and 2 million of us are living good and living straight, and the rest of us are struggling, that's not us doing good. That's a few black people doing well and the rest of them struggling. So that doesn't, like, if you having a few black billionaires and a few black millionaires, that doesn't really equate to how the people as a whole are doing. Like,
And they're not investing in their own people, these
and that's
millionaires.
a big
Yeah.
thing. And that's a big thing as well. We're not. And that's the problem. Is that we have these black people with money and they want to go flex. Even the ones who make, let's just say, middle class, all they really want to do is flex. Go buy the new, go buy the Gucci, go buy the Prada so I can post it on Instagram. Let's go buy this nice ass car, spend all this money on this. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's very much materialistic, and that's why we're like so economically dependent on YT people because we won't even invest in our communities.
This is
But
very true.
I mean, I think idealistically, I probably am a Pan Africanist, but I'll say that like as far as like what it looks like right now, I mean I don't really see them doing nothing. But as far as like the definition of it, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I also agree with you when you say like it's not just going to be a one-way street where it's like you guys are over there fighting and then Black America is just like pouring into you guys trying to get you guys to figure it out, because you guys they're very much so are tribalistic, you very much so are nationalists. You guys are worried about each other. When you guys come to America, you're definitely not worried about us. Not don't give a damn about what the hell is going on, and probably even more to our detriment than anything. So like I said, probably not right now, because I don't believe in the thing where Black America is just pouring into Africa and this, that, and another, and we're not seeing that reciprocated. Like, and then, like, what is Africa offering us right now?
What
I mean,
has they offered us
from the
historically
past.
speaking, and what are they offering us now? And to be frank and to be honest with you, is absolutely nothing. Like for an example, the Black Americans who went to Ethiopia, we helped build their aviation center and system, their airports. We know about a lot of Black Americans who were supporting Africa throughout the '60s, the early, 90s, and before, in many different eras. You find Black Americans supporting them, but it has not been reciprocated, as you just stated. I don't see Pan Africanism. I don't see it as something that is real. I don't see it as something that's realistic. Now is idealistic in the sense that people think, oh, we can all come together and do what? If 54 countries in a continent can't come together and to weed out their oppressors and colonizers there, us coming together, what difference is that going to make? In fact, I find that the thinking in Africa, and this is my experience because I've spent a lot of time in Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, Lenasia. I've been throughout South Africa. I've traveled a lot through Africa. So, and I'm sure you have as well. My experience with them, like if you look in South Africa today, they're kicking out the Somalis and Nigerians. They say you're not one of us. But at the same time, their thinking is the white tea people, you're safe here. And if you look at them, they're praising white tea people. You find some of them doing monkey dances for entertainment to white tea people. You find them, a white tea person will visit them and they'll hold them up as a chief over them in their village and praise them and kiss their feet. You find in Nigeria, when you visit Nigeria, you go to their court system. They actually wear the wigs of white tea people in order to preside over cases and hold that system up, even though there's no white tea people with a pew pew, aiming at them, making them do that. They're doing that on their own. So I think our thinking and their thinking is fundamentally different. And those two thinkings, I don't see how you can fuse them together for progress. I just don't see it.
No, no, that's a serious problem. They like for real. They praise YT people. They don't think YT people are their enemy at all, and that's a problem for Black America. That's gonna be a big problem because if you confused, then
Yeah.
it's insane. That's insane to me. So I definitely don't think they can't come together over there. They going from
And
one oppressor to the next. I'm so shocked to see them like messing with like the Asians and the Russians. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like from one YT person to another. Like y'all haven't learned anything.
And the first thing they do when they come over here, Solo, is they will get together with white tea people and say, yes, these Black Americans are lazy. These Black Americans didn't do anything. They don't want to do anything. They're just ghetto. They're this, that, and the third. And we built this country. We built this country on the backs of our ancestors, blood, sweat, and tears. They don't recognize that. Then you get the guy like Byron, who's a Congress member, who stated that I don't think they should get reparations because I'm Panamanian and I'm part African. And since we can't get it, why should they get it? We have the likes of them who will position themselves in politics. First, they use our civil rights laws. They would position themselves around Black folks in order to get the type of clout they think they deserve. And the moment they get comfortable, they start talking out against us. You have also that guy Myron Gaines, who sit around white tea people, the guy who be sleeping in the bed with white tea men, who come up and then say, well, look at these BLK people. They're just despicable. We need to do away with them. We need to unalive them. They don't deserve to be. Like he would say some of the most bizarre things. And then if you look at their countries under a microscope, one has to ask the question, how come resources has been taken out of your country and is more of you? And you are running your own government. You're running your own country, but you can't protect your resources, or you can't market your resources to these foreigners in order to bring money back into your land and so your people can survive. In fact, you're looking for any opportunity to run away, to flee your place of origin to America just to get some type of a proximity to whiteness. For me, that's that. If I had to diagnose that issue as a mental health issue, I would have to say that's Stockholm syndrome. And for me, I don't see Pan-Africanism as a viable option when that is the thinking, when that is the way forward for them. For me, that's like taking us 100 years back. That's why I don't see it as a viable option. And they don't even recognize, like a lot of them, the moment they get on the microphone, they would say, you know what, we built this country, we did this. And then they would tell us, you are our children. So if we did it, you guys as an extension of us. And we're
Oh
like, no,
wow.
we didn't get any help from you guys when we did this. We were on our own. I didn't see anybody coming from any of these places, 54 countries, trying to assist us and for our freedom, trying to assist us in our contributions, our innovations, our inventions. I didn't see any of that. So I don't think that you should take the credit for that. I think that you should say, you know what, you guys did that on your own and we respect what you did. Let's work together so we can learn from what you guys have done and how we can make this applicable in our own homeland. And as a result of that, this is the offers that we're going to give you. Some of our resources we're going to give you. You don't have to pay for this. You don't have to. If that was the type of conversations we were having, then perhaps I would agree with it. But since those are not the conversations we are having, I can't get behind it.
No, I don't think that's the conversation.
Yeah, that's why I'm against it.
Well, yeah, right now they want us to be Africans. Start,
Exactly.
start. Flex.
But you know why they want us to be Africans?
I have
Because
no
if the
idea
world
why
is
we have an
if the
invitation.
world is looking at you like, look at you, you coming from a land where all the resources is being extracted from. Because it's the rich in terms of resources. Every country is extracting your resources, but yet you don't have, this is how the world look at them. You don't have the intelligence to extract your own resources, nor do you have the intelligence to protect them. And on top of that, you're not staying behind in order trying, you're not trying to stay behind in your homeland and trying to build anything within your homeland for your people and to market your resources in a way that will benefit your country or bring your country up to the standards of other countries, but yet you fleeing to other countries. When they look at that and they, deep down, they have to self-reflect and say, you know what, that is true. That's embarrassing. So the only way to attach value to themselves is to say, you know what, you guys are Africans and you guys and us are the same. We are one. Because now you say that, you can leech on our contributions. You can leech off of our inventions, our innovations, our civil right plight. You can leech off of everything that our ancestor gave their blood and sweat for. You can leech off of that and you become something in the eyes of the world now because you're saying we're one. And for me, I don't respect that. I don't respect that. If I was an African, if I was a genuine African, I was living in Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, any of those places in out of the 54 countries in that continent, if I was there, I would not leave until I can build something from the resources that's in that land. And if I was part of the black collective there, I wouldn't run. I wouldn't run to any European countries, especially to a country that hates you, that see you as less than a human being. They call you monkeys. They call you names that, we probably can't even mention on this live. And yet you would still go to those places to be close to them instead of staying behind and trying to build from where you are, your place of origin. That, to me, I can't respect that. And I don't understand it. Just imagine our ancestors running and say, you know what, we're going to run instead of building. If you look at us, we were called 3/5 of a human being. We were called monkeys and animals. We're told we can never read. We can never invent anything. And through slavery, through hardship, through bondage, we innovated. We invented. We contributed. We fought and we fought and we fought. When all the odds was against us, we didn't validate ourselves by white people standard. That is one thing about us that is different. There was an interview that was done, and I'll shut up here. It was an interview where a white guy was going and asking black people and Chinese people and all other groups of people, including Africans. He was saying, if you had an option to have a second life, if you were, brought back again, what race or group of people you would be? All of them said that I would be a white person, with the exception of black Americans. They said I would be a black American every time, with the hardship, with the struggle, every time. That was such a proud moment for me.
Nah, every time I'm coming back Black American. Very
Me too.
true. Very true. It was something else you said I wanted to respond to, but I think ultimately, um, I agree. We do have a lot of things to be proud of in America. And I always, when we ask them, like, they take us saying, go back to your country and build as sort of like an insult. Why? I don't know. But if you ask them that, they're pretty much offended.
Yeah,
They do take credit. I have heard them take credit for Black Americans. Oh, it is so bad.
it's cringy.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't really know what the game is with that.
It's a disease. It's a mental issue because why would you want to take credit off of the works of someone else? That's plagiarism. Why you want to plagiarize our history instead of showing us your history? And Africa at one point in time was a very rich place. I mean, these were significant people. So I would never undermine what they were before, but rebuild, reconstruct, do better. And in fact, what they should be doing instead of taking what we say as an insult is they should reevaluate what they're doing and say, you know what? Maybe we need to go back and do this. Like, but they don't have no shame in their game. That's the part that gets me. Like, they have no shame in their game. They want to project on us. You guys are African. Christopher Columbus, read a book. And that's why I put up on TikTok Live. I used to do this a lot. I'll say I'll give anyone $1,000. I will cash app you today if you can show me any empirical evidence that Black Americans are Africans. And I keep using that argument because they said, well, look at us. We look alike. We have the same hair texture. Well, I said, well, look at Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea have the same hair texture as Black Americans. Why do you say they're native to Papua New Guinea? Why would you say that, certain people? And the thing about it, why would you make a distinction between a Lebanese, a Syrian, an Egyptian, a Saudi Arabian, a European? They all have the same type hair. But you would say, oh, they're different. They even have the same complexion. Some of them have the same nose structure, the same phenotypically speaking. But they would never make that comparison to say they're the same. They would say, oh, they different. But when it comes to us, they would reach so far out there into La La Land and Disney World to try to make us the same people. They won't accept the fact the findings of Louisiana when Louisiana findings, one of the oldest findings in America, was reconstructed, looked like one of our aunties. They won't look at the Olmec statue and say, well, the Olmec statue have a nose like a Black American, cheekbones and lip structure just like a Black American. So, and that was here before the Siberians and the Mongolians were here in America. So perhaps there's some truth to it. They won't have critical thinking. They're like almost divorced of logical thinking when it comes to these things, but yet they will read the books of their oppressors. Just because it's written in a book doesn't make it true. I want to see empirical evidence side by side with that book and say, you know what, on the basis of what we can witness in terms of evidence, empirical evidence, along with the historical narrative, this is why our position is strong. They can never do it. That's why I always kept my $1,000 in my pocket.
You know what's weird? What I always get them with, I say, why can't it be that Jamaicans can be Jamaicans, Haitians can be Haitians, Brazilians can be Brazilians, but some kind of way, Black Americans got to be Africans.
Yeah. You notice that? You say you're from Michigan. No, but where you really from? We're from
Right?
Chicago. That's
Oh
where we
my
really from.
God. I don't know how many times I get that going to Africa. They be like, where you from? I be like, I'm from the States. I'm from Memphis in the States. They be like, but where your parents from? I'm like, Memphis.
Where
Like,
your grandparents from? That happened to me when I was in Egypt recently. I was at the airport and a lady asked me, she started talking to me in English, then she used Arabic, and then she was asking me, where are you from? I said, I'm American. Yeah, but where are you really from? And then you know what I did? At first, I was about to get angry, but I said, you know what? I'm not about to become the stereotype that they think of us. So what I did was, after she finished asking me these questions, I turned it around to her. I said, so where are you from? I'm Egyptian. I said, no, but where are your parents from? Egyptian. Yeah, but where are your grandparents before they migrated to Egypt? She was so angry. You should have seen the complexion on her face.
oh
I
my
turned it
God.
around so quick. I flipped
That's
it.
funny as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, we offended.
Man, they
Oh,
got
we
so offended.
offended. That is funny as hell. That shit. I don't know why but we can't get past that though. Because they want to tell us how they want us to identify. So
Yeah.
I see, like I said, it's idealistic, but I don't see that shit happen. They can't even get along in Africa. They deporting each other right now. You go
Yeah.
over there, they talking shit about each other over
Yeah.
there right now. So like, what
Especially
you
in South
want Black
Africa.
Americans to like join in? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
South Africa is bad.
Horrible. I'm gonna let you
So,
get some king. So I'm gonna mute myself.
all right. Hey, can you unmute yourself? We were just getting some feedback from you. What's up?
I was just sitting back listening. I wanted to say, I just wanted to, a little tired. I just want to say my piece. Well, when we really look at it and break it down and look at it from a historical point of view, there were many nations that came upon this land and sieged it and took the land from the people, completely rewrote the history, completely shaped and changed the narrative of our story. So when they always say these things like, well, where y'all really from? And what I say, well, let me ask you this question. What do you know about ancient America? Who were the people in ancient America? What did they build? What was their spiritual practices? What was the unique things that made them great? And they look at you like, well, what do you mean? You're talking about the Native Americans? No, I'm talking about the ancient indigenous Americans of the land prior to any people coming off the Bering Strait, coming over from the Bering Strait. What was ancient America like? That history is completely erased from the memory of the world. Why is that? Because the people that were here in the Americas prior to any Asians, Caucasians, or any other people coming over here were us. So this is why they want to call us African, because it takes our birthright, it takes our history, it takes our knowledge away from who we truly are. This is why Dominicans can be Dominicans, Haitians can be Haitians, every other so-called group of black people get to be the land they're from and not African attached to that identity, except for us, because they have to remove us and displace us from our land and also our history. So the more that we're waking up and we're digging into the books, the records, and we're discovering who we truly are. Grandma wasn't lying. Grandpa wasn't lying when they said that you are Indian. It's not that you have some in you. You are that in what you are. You are an Indian. You are a part of the indigenous ancient people of this land. And they want to remove that identity from us because as long as they can do that, we don't have no claim to this land. Reparation is not enough. We want our land back. We want our true identity back. We want our history. We want to teach our children the true history. And that's why I say we definitely need to get our children out of these indoctrination camps. Because from 5 years old to 18 years old, they have a 13-year brainwashing factory system going on where black children have no cultural heritage or pride when they leave school. The only thing that they're taught is that from this time period to this time period, we assassinated your leaders. From this time period to this time period, you were slaves. They tell us nothing about our history, and it's our responsibility to do that and teach our children that. This is why in the 60s, you had cultural and racial pride, and then you start to see a slow decline of that up until now.
Can I say something? Like I agree with a lot of what you're putting down, but I do take issue with the term Indian because that's also a term that was attached to us like colored, mulatto, Negro, African American. These are when the pilgrims came over here, they attached this term Indian onto us as well. I do think it's about time we need something that we can self-identify. I do think that we need something that we can self-identify with, not with a term or a label which was posed on us. And I think Indian as well, because that term has been used for another group of people along with us here, and because of that, I do think that term is tainted. I do think that it kind of showed us as a defective group. So I kind of take issue with that term as well. Um, because it did come from Christopher Columbus and his crew. So what do you say to that?
You can unmute King. I just unmute you because when you guys both are unmuted, talking, I give feedback. Go ahead.
When they originally came over here, they went to the Indies. So the people that they encountered were Indians. These were the people that they identified and classified them as Indian people. To me, that's more accurate than black. That's more accurate than African American. It's even more accurate than foundational Black American. The only hangup that I have with Indian is that, like I said, they completely changed everything. It's to try to figure out which Indian you are, which tribe you came from. It's too complicated. So I would agree with you that we do need to come under one banner, and it is not African American. But at the same time, if a person wants to go back and do their genealogy and learn who their family is, they're going to find out that they are Indian. So you can't completely remove that from our history, even if we agree to come up under one banner, such as one of them, Foundational Black American.
Yes, but then you also have to agree that we have to accept the word colored. We have to accept the word Negro and African American. I do think African American is more detrimental. I do agree with you on that. I hear some feedback coming. If you can mute your mic, King, so I can say this and you can respond. But I do think African American is more detrimental because number one, we're not from Africa, we're from this land. And I think if white tea people, to their advantage, if they call us African American, they can say, well, these people don't deserve real rights. They don't have any real rights to this land because they're not from this land. If you attach another country to who they are as a group of people, now they have no political position here. They have no economical rights to fight for because you can always make the argument that they're not indigenous. You can take indigeneity out of the conversation. So I do understand why they would prefer that term, even though they use a useful idiot like Jesse Jackson and many other people to coin that term to somehow undermine our existence here on our land. I fully agree with you. But Indian is no different to me than a colored or a mulatto, because if you keep going back, there was a period of time when all of these terms were used to describe who we are. Is all documented. So that's why even foundational Black American, one of the things I don't typically agree with a lot of the things that Tariq Nasheed and many other people from his side are doing, using disparaging language to other groups. I kind of disagree with that aspect of it. But I do think foundational Black American is a term which no one can leech onto. I also think Solani is a good term because of our soul and the things that we do. And we invented soul in many aspects of our reality here. So I do like the term Solani, but I do think that it will be to our future detriment, even if using Indian, because you actually have a country from India. I see in 5 or 10 years, you're going to have Indian people who are born here, who come from India, second, third generation, say, I'm Indian American. Well, the term is used for, you see how they can hijack that as well. So I do think that there's some potential hijacking if we continue to use that term Indian as well. So that for those reasons, I kind of like step back away from it.
Yeah, but at the time the time when these so-called explorers came over here, India was Hindustan. It was not called India. It was India Superior and India Inferior. And that was used to describe the landmass here in the Americas, not the Hindustan, that is now commonly called India. So if they want to use that, you have to you have to know your history. You have to know where your people came from and tell them you are not the true original Indians. At the time that the term Indian was used to apply toward any people, it was India inferior, India superior. It was applied to the indigenous people of the Americas first.
I
But
got a
that's
quick.
true. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, just have a question real quick because I'm at this point I'm kind of learning right now. So I got a question for y'all. So when before let's just say well the people we call Native Americans, like this my understanding they come from Asia, right? Is that not true?
Yeah, they're
Yeah, they're from
Siberians.
Siberia and Mongolia.
Yeah, they're Mongolian Siberians. They are not the true indigenous people of this land.
So right. So but it had to be people here prior to them coming, right?
Of course,
Absolutely.
any other landmass you go to, you find dark skinned, brown skinned, copper colored people. And then all of a sudden, when you get to the Americas, then the narrative changes. Well, there were no dark skinned, brown skinned, copper colored people here.
Okay, so right. So now we were where we right where I want us to be. So what did they like when what do they call these people back in history? Like when they're writing this history, what do they call them back in the day?
Which one? What group of people are you talking about?
No, the people who were here before the people we call Native Americans that they mix with.
I want to clarify. You said what the original indigenous people that were here of the Americas?
Yes,
What did they call those people?
yes. Because wouldn't that be the proper name? Like that, wouldn't that like maybe identify us by like our name before we went under this captivity and they started relabeling us
They identify themselves by tribes.
by tribes? Oh shit.
There was so many tribes over here. The people identify. So there wasn't just one generic term that all of the people called themselves. When these people came over here, they didn't know their tribes. They didn't know where the people was from until they interacted with them. And then they started to call them Seminoles, and then they started calling them Blackfoots. And there's plenty of other black indigenous tribes that were here already. I don't know all of their names, but there are plenty of people on here on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere in the world. And I'm sorry, not everywhere in the world, in the Americas that classify themselves as Indian. They don't say black. They don't say African American. They still classify themselves as Indian. Chickasaw. They
That's
classify
also,
Go
themselves as
ahead, because I
Indian.
jumped in. I jumped in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm saying that's also true because if you look at it, if you look at how systemically this was all brought about. You have to see when the white tea person understood when they want to erase our history, they would unalive our grandparents and our parents, and they would raise the children up with a new narrative because they didn't have the information. But if you unalive the grandparents, if you unalive the parents of these particular children, then that puts you in a position to change the narrative to make them whoever you want them to be in terms of as your slaves, as your captives. That's why we are POWs. So the names that we had back then wouldn't, a lot of us wouldn't even know those particular names because we grew up under the plantation, under the guise of a own person with a narrative that wasn't ours. So that would make sense why we don't have those names today, because you hear a lot of Africans, they will make this argument that how come you guys can't speak the language of your forefathers? You have a language, why you guys are speaking in English? And that tells me that you don't understand history. You don't understand how slavery worked. You understand how they separated the children from the parents and sold it to another family. And you unalive the father, unalive the grandfather, the mother, because they would have given or passed down the language or passed down their value system and the name of those tribes and locations to those children. But if you sell them and you put them somewhere else, you can teach them a new name, you can teach them a new language, and you can erase their indigeneity of that particular land. And I think that is the process by which they use for us. That's why a lot of us are not privy to it. But I also still think it's dangerous to use the word Indian to describe us as a group of people. I think is extremely dangerous because you can look at people, like I said earlier, you don't have to go you don't have to go back in history and say, well, you know what, they people in India was considered Hindustan. Well, Africa was considered Ethiopian. That wasn't called Africa, but then they coined the term African American. And if you look at the logic there, it crumbles, because if any African person, including Elon Musk, move here and his children are born here in America, second or third generation, technically and logically, that child can say, I'm African American. You have the likes of that mayor in New York, Zahran Mandami. His parents moved from India to Africa. And when he put on all of his paperwork in the colleges that he attended to that I'm African American, no one can really argue with him logically because he's not really lying. His parents, he was born in Africa. His parents migrated there. Probably his grandparents migrated there. And he happened to be in America, American citizenship with origins from Africa. No one can say he's not African American. So what separates him from us who've been here all along, the original people here? And if someone likes to make the argument, if
Okay, but
someone likes to make
I want to say
one
this.
minute, I'm just gonna finish really quickly. I'm
How
just
is
gonna land really
Indian
quickly.
dangerous though? How is saying that I'm Indian and that we
Yeah,
classify ourselves as Indian. We know our tribes. How is that dangerous?
Hold on, King. Hold on 1 second.
yeah.
I want you to answer that question, Flex, but I want you to finish what you're saying now.
Yes, and one of the reasons why we know for a fact that the Siberians and Mongolians natives are not real natives to this land is because if you compare their facial structures, their chingy eyes, not to be disparaging, and their facial structure, it does not match up with the Olmec statues, which they would even agree that have been here thousands of years before they arrived on the scene. So there were human beings here. That is more sim. The Olmec statue is similar to us. If you look at the findings of Louisiana, the findings that it so happily, in 2008, they said that it burned down when they did, they reconstructed the facial of Louisiana. The similarities of that can be any of our aunties, any of our grandparents. It looks just like us. So those are the oldest findings here, historically speaking. That's why I always ask people when they have this argument, I don't care about your history books because the victor always gets to write the history books. Show me tangible and empirical evidence. But yeah, I'm not sure the question. I'm not sure if I answered it, but go ahead.
Okay, okay. Did you want to respond to that, King?
Yeah. So, I mean, first and foremost, the whole Bering Strait theory has already been debunked. They
Which
already did the research, and they said that 3 to 5 thousand years before they came over from the Bering Strait in the area that they call Florida, they had already found that there were a group of people, hunters. There were hunters and gatherers in Florida that they had already found evidence that there were people here prior to the Bering Strait. Same thing I just said. This is what the Smithsonian discovered. This is what the scientists know for a fact. And not only that, the whole Bering Strait theory thing. So you coming across this barren land, this frozen, this tundra. How did they survive? There's no food. Everything's froze. How did they survive? I mean, it's not plausible. It's like it's a theory. It's not even something that can even hold weight to any type of logical analysis. It's just false. People don't want to hold. They don't want to hold the truth. I'm sorry. They don't want to hold the falsehood to the fire. They don't want to actually call this out. And not only that, I asked any of them prior to 1867, what were your people? In Alaska, and then you suddenly all of a sudden migrated to the southern parts of the United States. All of a sudden you migrated to the midwestern part of the United States in 1867. It doesn't hold up. It does not make sense. So these are these so-called natives, and the natives are Caucasians and Asians. They paper genocided the indigenous people, the true Americans, the Indian people. They paper genocided us. Walter Plecker did it with the 1942 Virginia Racial Integrity Act. That was one example of it. And then they also did it with the Dawes Rolls. And there's other examples of them doing this to the Indian people. Another part of it is this, that the Indian and the Negro, they had a hard time telling them apart. They lived and worked together, and they lived in the same areas. They had a hard time distinguishing between the Negro and the Indian, not the Native American. So I don't. What I was asking was, I don't see and understand how us calling ourselves Indian and classifying ourselves as Indian along with our tribe is any threat, and how is any way, shape, or form of a threat versus being African American or Pan African. To me, that's the biggest threat to us, and the biggest insult to me as an American is to be called African or Pan African.
So
I
I got a
agree with
question
you,
really
but
quick. I want to make sure I'm following him, his argument. So, King, what you're saying is that the Negro, the people that they called Negro and the people that they called Indians in the history, they couldn't tell them apart.
They could not tell them apart.
Hmm.
They
Okay.
lived together. They came across this. Man, I forgot the name of this book. I'll go get the name of this book when I get a chance. But when I read it, it said that they lived in the same lands, and they would interact and do business together. And the Indian would go to the Negro's house, and the Negro would go to the Indian house, and they said it was hard to tell them apart.
Okay, tell me this, but did they recognize that they were two separate people, though?
No,
So
They
why would they
didn't
use
they
it
didn't
as
enslave the
another?
Africans, they didn't enslave the Negro, they enslaved the Indian. So prior to the transatlantic slave trade, there was the continental American slave trade where they took Indians outside of America, took some of them into the place they call Haiti. They sent some of them over into Spain. They sent some over into West Africa, the Azores. They took Indians outside of America and shipped them all across the world. That's the slave trade
That's
that we
what
don't
you
talk about.
that now shit. But if that's the case, that goes towards what I ain't gonna lie. That's what the Israelites teach. I ain't gonna lie. I've heard them teach that the Northern Kingdom went through a slave trade where they were dispersed around, but I've never heard of it. So that's good. Okay, Drake, did you lay your plane, King?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I was
Oh,
gonna say all you got to do is just look up the continental American slave trade. It's in the Library of Congress. Is they have books written on it. They give lectures on it, but it's just not talked about. They only talk about the transatlantic slave trade because what it does is takes us away from our true identity and history. Y'all, we brought y'all from Africa over here versus y'all were already over here and we dispersed you from the Americas into all parts of the land.
but something don't make sense to me because you just stated that the transatlantic slave trade did happen. So, did it happen, or were we already here, or was that a first?
So this is I got some feedback. So this is what they say. They say that they brought us over from Africa in the transatlantic slave trade. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. When I look at the numbers and the data that they collected, only 388,000 to 400,000 Africans came over here. Now, when they said that they came over into Jamestown, they had only recorded a few hundred.
Yeah, but I kind of question that whole narrative simply because there's zero empirical evidence to suggest that this transatlantic slave trade happened, at least here in the North America. Number one, it don't make sense in terms of the numbers. The millions, if you look on slavevoyage.com, it says less than 3%. That's the numbers that they're giving now after looking back into it. But my second issue is this: whenever history happened, it has to exist in both places. For what I mean by that is there should be a narrative in Africa of someone saying our great great grandfather left here, and this is what our grandparents told us, whether it's documented or through oral tradition. That doesn't exist there in Africa. The second thing I look at is we have Viking ships as older than a transatlantic slave trade, and we have zero evidence. We have a fraction of what is alleged as evidence, which is the Catilda. Catilda, I think I'm saying that correctly, and that's supposed to be in a museum, but that's not even a full ship. It's not even a 0.5% of a ship. So, and we know white tea people, they like to record their history. They even have movies out like Roots. They have museums where they show captivity happen here in America, bondage and the chains that were used on slaves. But yet there's zero, 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 less than 1% of evidence that can suggest that the transatlantic slave trade was a voyage by which black people were brought here to America from West Africa. How come that doesn't exist? So I look at things like that and I scratch my head because I did a deep dive search and I can't find any evidence to suggest that it happened empirically
Right.
wise.
So I don't disagree with you. This is why I said they said, not I. When I looked into it, they only brought over 100 in Virginia in 1619 Africans over here. Now they said that 12 million came from Africa and came into the Americas, but less, like you said, 3% came to the Americas. Well, if that's, let's say that's the case, right? Those Africans that they brought over here got absorbed into the indigenous population. There is no more African. They had to get absorbed into a larger population to be able to sustain a population growth of 4 million in 1865. So any Africans that came over here got absorbed into something. They didn't get absorbed into the natives. They didn't get absorbed into the Caucasians that was over here. They had to intermingle with some people. They intermingled with who? Us. And they got absorbed into us. There is no more African. So
So
they can continue this narrative that, well, most of them went over into Jamaica, they went over here. There were already there were already dark skinned people in the Americas already, the Arawak. There were already people here that were dark skinned. So no one wants to hold them accountable for the lies. No one wants to say, well, let's challenge this narrative that we came from Africa. No one wants to do it because we've been indoctrinated, brainwashed. They make movies about it every year. Every year they make a movie about it. And no one wants to challenge the narrative, especially Roots. That was the biggest farce in fucking human history. He got sued for it, and nobody called him out about it. We're
mm,
not Africans. We did not come from Africa. And the fact that we're still, not us, I'm not saying us, but the fact that we're arguing about it and they just like, well, we know the truth, but we're not going to get into this argument. We're not going to say nothing about it because they know the truth.
Is there any
So what
invoices
happened?
or like in a manifesto? Like you know how we have slave receipts of selling slaves from Virginia to New York or Mississippi, or them selling from plantation. Is there any existing receipts, bills, manifestos? What you call those things on the ship where they write down? Do we have any surviving? Because I can't find any of from ports of Africa, from certain places of black people brought over here. Do you guys know of any?
wait, time out. I want to make sure I'm following y'all. So
Oh,
are you talking about the transatlantic slave trade or the intercontinental one that he just mentioned? You talking about the transatlantic?
Transatlantic, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
there's more documented evidence of indigenous people leaving the Americas, being dispersed across the world, than there is of Africans coming here in slave ships.
Wait, time out. Okay, wait, time out. So you're saying that the slave trade that we learn about is really the one of Americans, people that were in America being deported, being sort of shipped out instead of Africa being shipped into America?
No, they don't. So they documented it. There's books on it. There's books that was written by people about the intercontinental American slave trade of the indigenous people. They wrote books about it. They have it well documented. It's in the government archives, but they don't teach that. They only teach about the transatlantic slave trade. And then, as the brother was saying, is there any empirical evidence or proof that they brought all of these people over here? And then when you go and look at the evidence and examine it and break it down, you don't really see all of these Africans coming over here. You see a lot of indigenous people leaving.
Wait, wait. Okay, so time out. What would you say is evidence?
Witness statements, people actually writing it, and people actually breaking it down. Like I think it's Slave Voyages is one of them. I forgot the one I went to, but when I was looking at it, man, it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, so this ship left here with people and went to Europe, Spain. This ship left here and they went to Ireland. This ship left here and they went to West Africa. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, where are the people that came into the Americas?
Wait, but isn't that what
And
they
I
teach
just,
us? But isn't that what they teach us in the transatlantic slave trade? Is like that evidence isn't is that not evidence of them like teaching us? I mean, no matter of course we're gonna argue the numbers, right? But like are you saying that the transatlantic slave trade from West Africa to Brazil, the Americas, right? You're saying that that evidence doesn't fully convince you that that event occurred, or if the numbers are correct.
it didn't happen the way how they explained it. It didn't happen in the mass amount that they explained it. It did not happen that way. I'm not saying that no Africans came over here in that time period, but prior to 1619, we got to look at 1494. And then from 1494 to 1619, that time period, It's completely erased out of human history. Well, where did all those people go? Why does our history start at 1619 coming from Africa when it's not true? This is not my opinion on it. This is not me denying it. I'm looking at their history. I'm looking at their research. I'm asking the question, well, where are the slave ships?
Okay.
Where are these large manifestos of all of these Africans that came from the point of no return in Ghana? And then when I went and looked over into Africa and I asked about their history, they said it was damn near impossible for any boat to go into that area that they called the point of no return because of the rocks in the land would have sunk the boat. Not the rocks in the land, the rocks in the water. It was so shallow that any boat that tried to go in there to get people, it would have damaged it and it would have sunk. So the point of no return is false?
I mean, it's there. Right. I mean, I don't know, like, again.
But they didn't take millions and millions and millions and millions or hundreds of thousands of people out of there. It's impossible. Not only that, let's do a let's do a breakdown of this, right? How long would it take to get from the Americas to Africa, from Africa to America? How many people could they hold in a ship? And then when I looked at how long it would have took to do it and how many ships, it is mathematically impossible.
I see. I ain't gonna lie, I definitely question the numbers, especially now that I go to Africa now. Like I definitely question the numbers, right? So I can say maybe it wasn't a million, maybe it wasn't these millions and millions and millions of people, right?
12.5 million?
Maybe. Maybe.
12.5 million people
Maybe.
y'all brought over from Africa.
I mean that's what they allege, right?
Come
But
on.
maybe I don't agree with that.
Just
Okay.
tell the truth. You came over here and you took the land from the people. You went to war with the people. You made them prisoners of war and you subjected them to a cruel, inhumane system of chattel slavery. That's what you did to the original people here. And then you took their identity and you changed it and you start calling them things outside of their tribes and outside of their name. You literally beat the tongue out of these people.
Okay. So, Flex, I want to ask you a question. Is it your argument that the transatlantic slave trade did not exist?
I don't see any empirical evidence to suggest that it did happen. Like he said, mathematically is impossible. All evidence I, that I've done have led me to believe that we are POWs, prisoners of war here in this land. Like he said, the math don't add up. The math is not mathing, even with the numbers they're given. And when you look at the books that they have written about what happened to black people over here, we can't find any invoice. We can't find any document of sale showing from Africa or from white tea people saying that we brought these people, any manifesto showing that we brought this amount of people over here, things that exist in other areas when they're doing business. And these were people who are known to document things the way that they have documented so many other things of the ugly aspects of our history. We can't find anything to suggest that. We can't find a ship. We have surviving Viking ships that is older than any alleged slave ship that they allege was used to bring black Americans over here from Africa, which is simply untrue. And if you look in Africa, when I went to Africa, I started asking people, have your grandparents have ever told you about their great grandparents been taken away from their village and taken to a foreign land by white tea people? They said, we have no history of that. If you go to any parts of West Africa, that is not in their history. They have history about many other things that happened there on the continent, but they have zero evidence or zero history that of their parents or people been taken or war broke out or they had to sell some of their individuals to people who are on the market. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in Africa. And history has to exist in both places in order for it to be true. It can't be true in one area. That's just a narrative. If it's true on both sides, then you can say, well, there's evidence. We can collaborate that evidence with what is being said here, with what is being said there on the continent, and is non-existent. And if you look at the Africans who like to project onto us that we are Africans, they go off of the white tea people who are saying this here in America. They will use, if you ever listen to them, they will go and refer to a book that they read from someone here in America who is saying that, but they can't give any reference of anything back in their homeland indicating that whatsoever. So I haven't seen any empirical evidence. I've seen no tangible evidence to support that claim.
Okay. Okay. So you think that so what do you think is the reason why they would create sort of this lie about the transatlantic slave trade? Whether it exists, whether your argument is that whether or not it existed, or if you question the numbers, why do you think they would make up a lie like that?
A great question. The same reason what we see the small hats are doing to Palestinians today, where they will go over and say, you know what, we were here so many thousands and thousands of years. You guys are not the original people here. In order to steal land, in order to steal the rights, in order to have dominion over that particular land. That is no different, because I believe small hats and white tea people are the same people. They're just hiding behind the small hats. They are biologically, genetically, the exact same people. There's no difference between them, even though people like to, separate the two. And I think the same thing here, because if you say that you project on us that we're from a different land, then now you can always make the argument that we founded this land. We were here first. You guys are foreigners or immigrants just like us. So no one have rights to it. We have equal rights or equal claim to this land, just like you would have equal claim to this land, because we are one and the same. We are pilgrims. We come from Europe and you came from Africa. Then they can delete our history. They can delete the fact that we are indigenous to this land, and that will put them in a position where they can say, you know what, we don't have to give you certain rights. We don't have to make you equal to us, because you guys are similar to us, but in a different form, lesser than us, but not, the exact same, so that would put them in that position to do that.
Okay. What about you, King?
Correct. I agree with everything that the brother is saying. See, indigenous people have rights to lands. Even the United Nations stated that the indigenous people have rights. But see, slaves didn't. Prisoners of war, well, we don't, if we call them prisoners of war, then we have to say, well, we have to admit that we actually went to war with the people of the land. So we just got to call them slaves. And then we got to come up with this narrative or the story, and everybody has to agree. The Siberian has to agree. The Mongoloid, Asian, we all got to agree. The African got to agree that we brought these people over here from Africa, and everybody gonna get something as long as they help us keep up this myth, this lie, this stain on human history, this egregious act that we did. And as long as everybody help us lie, they're going to get something. Y'all can come to this land too. And I promise if y'all come to this land, we're going to treat y'all better than them. Just help us keep this lie up. That they are not the indigenous people. They are not prisoners of war in their own land. That they are descendants of slaves. And if y'all help us keep this lie up, we'll make sure that y'all prosper over them. That's what we are.
Wow. Okay. So I I am in no position to argue with you guys about the facts. I'll be honest. But I believe that's the question. And Flex, did you want to respond?
Yeah, I want to say this. The, if you look at it, if you look at the books and stuff that's written about it, I don't understand why people will simply, a lot of Black Americans who like to deny this as a fact, who want to call themselves African.
You breaking up, Flex?
I'm sorry, the Black Americans who like to call themselves African American, and the Africans who like to project African American on them. And what I don't get is how they won't believe when the white tea people write certain narratives about them and their countries, and how they didn't colonize them, how they Africans are just low IQ, or the Black people are this, but then they cherry pick what they want to believe. I think as Black Americans, in order for us to move forward, what we have to do is we have to critically think. We can't just accept narratives. We can't accept written documents because I don't believe in a lot of the historical written documents about this because they have a reason. It's advantageous for them to lie in these alleged historical documents, which are not really alleged real historical documents. I think what we have to do is look at the empirical evidence, look at what follows. If the Siberians are saying that he's native to this land, then we have to say, okay, how come your nose doesn't look like the Olmec statues? How come your lips is not full like the Olmec statues? We have to say, how come the oldest remains, the Louisa remains, how come it doesn't look like you? We have to be able to look at the evidence ourselves and be objective rather than just simply subscribe to it because it's popular. Just because things is popular doesn't necessarily make it true.
I see. Yeah, I think that's the issue that a lot of people who say this, who have this history to present, a lot of times if it doesn't line up with what YT people have written in these books, these people aren't even going to consider it. And that's what's irritating because it's just kind of like, well, if you haven't done the research, then maybe you can't argue with me about something that I'm telling you about.
That's why I said that I give $1,000 to anyone. I'm willing to do that now. I'm man, I'm so serious, solo. I said I give $1,000 to anyone who can empirically show that Black Americans came from Africa. If you can show supporting evidence, if you can show that, and don't give me no sob story. Well, they repurposed the ships. This is what a lot of Pan-Africanists like to say. They repurposed the ships and used it for other means. They didn't just keep the slave ships, but then all of a sudden they kept the Viking ships. Why didn't they repurpose the Viking ships? And some of those ships are older than alleged, Mayflower and other ships that supposedly brought Black Americans over here from West Africa. How come? And then someone said, well, you need to do DNA. You need to look into, your DNA. The DNA is the strongest evidence. How come? No, this is another thing. One thing is DNA is not reliable because it can't tell a person over 5 or 7 generations. The second thing is people have to take into account that people shifted from one land to another land. Not all Africa was in one place. People married and married to other groups of people. So there's no way to pinpoint one group of people using DNA. DNA can be used for someone who's like close relative, like a grandfather, a mother, a auntie, a cousin, but it can't go beyond the scope of that. So those arguments all fall flat on its face when people try to use them. There's no real way, no method. So I'm looking for empirical evidence. I would pay someone $1,000 to show the evidence that no one can argue with. And up until now, I haven't seen anything.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So, as it relates to like other people that they claim, well, maybe not a question for you, Flex, because you don't believe that it occurred. But I think King believes that it occurred. He just questions the numbers. So, King, for you, do you question like when it comes to like when they went, for example, they went to Brazil too. They went to Central America too, like according to like what they tell us as far as history. So, do
Hold on,
you?
I want to clarify. No, I do not accept that the transatlantic slave trade happened.
Oh, I thought you said it happened. You just don't believe that it happened as many Africans as
No,
they
so
said.
I want to clarify. I went and looked at how many Africans in 1526. There was some Africans that came over here with the Spanish explorer in 1526. This did happen, and they they burnt the ship and they fled into the they fled into the mainland. So those Africans fled. So, but they don't talk about that. So the story of all of these Africans that came over here, they got dispersed into the indigenous population. All of the ones that came over here did. I said earlier, more than 388,000 that came to America. They were no longer African by the second generation. They were out of there.
Okay.
So African didn't change. That didn't change the gene pool of the Americas. America was already brown.
See, I don't understand why people would question
It
that.
already had indigenous people.
Yeah.
Because
Like people
because
question it. I'm
because
like,
they have to. They have to.
I'm like, of course
There
these
is no
black people
ancient
should.
America. Yeah, there was no ancient America. There were no pyramids. There were no royalty. There were no kings. There were no emperors. There was none of that over here in America. No, and if there was that over here in Americas, they definitely wasn't us. The Mayans and those people, they definitely wasn't us. Because the movie's gonna show you that they were Mexicans.
Oh wow.
They were Spaniards. They definitely wasn't us. They didn't have locks and braids. No. They didn't. They definitely that definitely wasn't our people. They wasn't. They didn't have access to rubber. They wasn't building boats and advanced civilizations. They wasn't doing that. No. Because we're just slaves. We're stupid people. We came from Africa. We didn't contribute nothing to the world.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what do you think Africa? What do you think? What benefit do you think Africa gets for like holding on to this lie? Like, why do
They
they like?
get
Why they keeping them dungeons and shit? Like, why did they claim that the Portuguese built the dungeons when they got there, and then of course, different European countries as they came and allegedly stole people, they built the dungeons. So, like,
Where
what do
does
you
Africa
think?
get the most aid from? Who do they get the most aid from?
I mean, European countries.
Why?
Cause they keep selling each other out. They sell their people out. They selling
They
each other out.
they sold out. Yep, they sold out. They are part of the lie. They are part of the story. Bought and paid for it, and they receiving a blessing. And I hope they get all of it.
So let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think Africa exists with 54 countries and a lot of black people are in government, but they can't look at their bare land and extract their resources and or market their resources to protect their resources and to build their homeland, and they often have to leave to other European countries for survival? Why do you think that that happens?
I think because they selling each other out. Their leaders are selling them out. Like I don't think that their leaders are like fighting for them to get their fair share of like for example, Saudi Arabia sells oil, Iran sells oil. Like these countries ain't cheating Iran out of their fair share of what their oil costs, like buying it on the fair market value. I doubt if America is paying full price for these minerals that they're getting. So, of course, they just don't have full reign to just walk in Africa and just take the minerals. Somebody is having to give these companies access to these minerals. So, I think it's the people in charge.
They don't see their country, they don't want their country to be, equal to other countries, like in terms of them, being technologically advanced, their infrastructure being, where they can have a strong military, they can innovate, they can, invent things. Like, wouldn't that be at the disadvantage? That would put them at a disadvantage in terms of the world stage. Like even the ones who are selling, like I just don't understand the logic. Like there seems to be a lack of logic.
No, they're selling their people out like they're selling the minerals. So if I'm an African like president, maybe the country itself can only afford to pay me, let's just say $100,000, right? Let's just put that. I doubt they making that much money, but let's just say equivalent to 100,000 American dollars. But if I'm willing to sell my country out and I'm willing to let the Asian people come in here and explore our minerals at a discount, or the French to come in here, if I'm gonna continue to let friends take the gold up out of here, they're willing to give me $5 million, $10 million. A lot of them are taking that money. A lot of them are taking that money. Anytime you see aid going to Africa, just know that it is not for free. Like like recently, Trump just said that like he was only going to provide like military support and like or health insurance. I think it was like health aid or something like that, to, the Congo, unless the Congo gave him access to their rare minerals. Like any type of aid you see going to Africa is not for free. Like they're not doing it because they want to see African people doing well. They want it so that they can exploit the minerals. And a lot of them use the issue of protection. So they'll start a civil war in that country and they will say, okay, well, America, now I need America's help to stop the civil war. But America is really starting the war so they can provide you with the, provide you with the remedy to your issue, your war. I'm going to provide you with security. And in exchange, I want access to the wealth. See, like if you look at Burkina Faso, that's the same thing the French was supposed to be doing. They were supposed to be providing security to Burkina Faso and all of that, all of that other stuff that they was doing, really. But in exchange, the French had control over their economy, their wealth, their oil, all that, oil, gas, not gas, gold, I mean. So he had to kick them out so that he can sell that those minerals on the market to other sort of nations, right? See, a lot of them are up under their colonial powers, even though they claim to be independent. A lot of them are still using like France money, European money. They're still over there. Really, none of them are really free except Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. All the rest of them are under Western powers. Like even Ghana. Ghana just did a security deal with America. Like, come on now.
Gospel cowards. That's all I got to say. Like any one of the leaders that ever stood up to the global European power, the Western world, what happened to them?
Unalive.
Yep. So all of them are corrupt uh, cowards. They're all corrupt, docile cowards. That's why I don't want to be an African. Well, I'm not going to say we're not African. So when people say, I'm like, stop calling. If they were our people, why didn't they come over here and come get us?
No,
If we they
that's the
people.
first thing I be thinking. Like, where were y'all when we was getting our ass towed up over here?
Yeah, y'all came over after the shit happened. Y'all came over after the slave trade. Y'all came over after all of these horrible things happened to your so-called people. You came over after.
Colonized, that's right. I was wondering, I was like, what were they doing? Oh, they was being colonized.
Yeah, if your family abandoned you, if you say, okay, I'm your family, and then I abandoned you in your time of need, how would you look at me?
No, I'd be offended.
You'd be offended. You'd say, you know what, you wasn't there. So that's not, they're not my brother. They're not my people. Because my people fight. We have a warrior spirit inside of us. We are not docile people. Even in being under siege, with all of the horrible things that they was doing, we still fought and rebelled. It's in our spirit, it's in our nature, it's in our blood. It's not in theirs. The overwhelming majority of people in that landmass, Africa, how is it that they let a small group of people come in and conquer them?
They use it's the same tactic. That's why it's so crazy. All they do is divide and conquer. Like literally, it's crazy to see them do it. To read them do it in history, and then see them do it now is like crazy. I be like, the last one I
And
seen,
one leader and one chief
Iran.
and one tribe, they're like,
You breaking up?
not one leader, not one man was like, you know what? We outnumber these people. Let us combine forces and combat what they're trying to do. Now, that's to me that's it's
Crazy
not
word.
us fighting. They like, man, we got to do the thing. Rebellions now. They don't they don't talk
You
what's that
break.
happened over here. Press all of that knowledge. They put out one movie of a slave rebellion. Out of all of the hundreds of slave rebellions that happened in
You breaking up?
I'm breaking up.
Mm-hmm.
See, don't nobody want to have this conversation. They like, nah, we gonna just watch from a distance. We don't want to have this conversation.
Well, I mean, you can't disagree. You can't disagree on TikTok. It's
No,
insane.
no, you can go run and tell though. That's what they do on TikTok. They go run and tell. They're spreading misinformation and they talking bad about people. Okay.
Oh my God. Not a grown
When
man.
we right when we talk about dissecting the evidence and looking at it and holding it to the light and actually look at our history and uncover it, the truth, and teach our children the truth and teach our people the truth and talk amongst ourselves so we can discover and come to a reality and change this reality so that we come with truth, then that's a threat to people. They see that as a threat. Because us telling our truth is exposing their lies. And it makes everybody have to say, well, now we got to go back and look at who we really are and look at our history and see what was not correct about it. And the whole world is an illusion. It's based on a lie. And we're surrounded. That lie is surrounded and built on our identity.
That's just so interesting. It seems like an exorbitant lie, but if the goal was to get the land, then I think uh that's probably why.
The goal was the land and the identity. Let's take our identity, take our land, take our birthright, take our knowledge, take it all and give it to somebody else. And then tell us that we're not nothing, that we ain't anything, we're subhuman. There would be no America without us.
That's crazy.
All of the wealth that the Western world has experienced and gained, it came from where? The Americas.
Man, it's just interesting to me. But I mean, do you think, what do you think? What do you think is the pushback?
What is the what?
What's the pushback? To even be open to learning what's going on, right? Just to be
The
open to
put
learning what's the pushback that you're getting when even being open to learning about this history about us? What are the pushback you're getting from people?
what do they call that? Cognitive dissonance? Have you
It's
ever heard of
nothing. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I have. There's nothing I can do about that.
that? That's the pushback. When you present people with truth and you present evidence and you ask them a question that challenges the narrative of what they've been taught or brainwashed into believe as true, people have a hard time dealing with that psychologically. So what you're telling me is that everything that I learned is a lie?
Potentially, you was told by your about YT man. Potentially.
Yeah. You were taught by your oppressor. You were taught by the people that wage war on your people. You were taught by these people. You and you think they were going to teach you the truth?
Right.
I mean, let's be honest though. Would you?
Not 100%. Not that I know like what we're faced with right now. Like the people we've been dealing with, the type of people we've been dealing with, I question every damn thing from their ass at this point.
Yeah. Because our history with these people is that they will fight us. Without nothing, they'll fight us. So if we just tell them the truth, if we don't If we don't control the narrative or the flow of information into their minds, there will be a warrior spirit that will arise amongst them one day, and they will rebel against us, such as we have never seen before. So we better get control of their youth and indoctrinate them for 13 years. Each one will get a severe indoctrination for 13 years, and we will make them patriotic. We will make them docile. We will leave them with an inferiority complex. We will tell them that they didn't achieve anything. We will tell them that they only existed from 1619 on forward. We will put them into our universities and teach them what we want them to learn. And the only measure of success is what they will obtain is when they get a degree from one of our institutions, and not from knowledge of self. And here we are. Rinse, wash, repeat. Next generation. Okay, we got another batch. How old are you? 5? Bring your buddy here. You're going to kindergarten. We're about to teach you. Say your ABCs, Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to teach you who the founding fathers are. You're in 8th grade? Okay, you good to go now. Now you're going to high school. No, rinse, wash, repeat. You're almost to the final stage of it. Now go vote and be patriotic. That's what you do.
Oh, we dead
And
ass. Go
it's a
work.
cycle. It's a cycle. Every 5 years, there's a new batch of children that's going to go through the indoctrination system. I'm sorry, my bad, education system.
That's funny as hell. Yes, it's sad as fuck. Oh, wait, what are we gonna do in 100 years? Do we want them to be teaching our kids?
The majority of the teachers in America are what? Who are they?
They are white women.
Come on now. You think you think what the Triple K did to us was wrong and horrible? Yeah, it was. It was. But think, what happens when you destroy the mind of a child? See, they'll smile in your face. They'll give you a sticker and an apple and destroy your mind. And then they'll have a parent-teacher conference and they'll tell you all about your child, how good they're doing being brainwashed. And the moment you want to pull your kid out of school and say, I want to homeschool my kid, then they want to come up with all of these issues and all of these, what do they call it, these obstacles for you, where they got to be, what do they call it, immunized. They got to have all of these vaccinations. They got to have all of this. And we got to test them to make sure that they're learning the correct way. We got to do all of this. We got to make sure that we're monitoring that what you're teaching your kids is not knowledge of who they are. Do they know who the founding fathers are? Do they know about who Christopher Columbus is? Do they know about all of these things? Yeah, okay. Well, then you can continue teaching your kid at home.
This shit is sad. What we gonna do? What's up, Candy?
Homeschool your kids. Will more of us homeschool our kids? That generation that says, you know what, enough is enough. Because now the truth is out. They can't stop. Enough of us is waking up, coming to knowledge of who we are, our true identity. We're challenging the narrative. We're questioning. We're using logic. We're breaking down their systems. Because this is the first time in history, in the last 10 years, the last decade or so, where now they're being examined. Because, see, they study everybody else. They break everybody else down and study their systems, their language, their tongues. Now we're flipping it on them and saying, well, now it's time to examine and study you. And they real quiet on TikTok.
Well, they don't really want to. I don't don't feel like people just really want to do nothing on TikTok. They want to, they want to talk about it.
Yeah, they don't be coming into these rooms like this when we talk, have conversations like this. They'll want to. They're like, well, we don't want to say nothing because when somebody's holding the mirror in front of your face and say, "You see how you look?" Nah, we don't want to. We don't want to deal with that.
No, they want to argue and fight on TikTok. That's why I went live today because I couldn't find a decent live to go in.
Because what they talking about?
They in there arguing and talking over each other and fighting about nothing. It's just so ridiculous.
It's draining. You get tired of it. It's so draining. You like, you know what? I ain't got time for it. I came here to actually give some input, address the prompt, talk, engage in something intellectual. Let's have a thought-provoking conversation. And y'all want to, it's five people talking at once. And then somebody get mad and threatening somebody, I'm going to pull up. you know?
It is insane. I had a girl like that yesterday. She was talking about pulling up on somebody. I'm like, to do what? Fight? Like, what?
To fight on TikTok, off of TikTok? Like
With her for what?
like it's that serious where we want to fight on TikTok. See, when I saw myself getting pulled out of character doing stuff like that, like getting into argument with bro, I'm like, I can't do this no more, man. I said I can't do this. So I go into a room and they get to all that rah 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 rah. I'll be like, all right, let me get on up out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 It's insane.
Because we should be talking about we should be asking questions that's thought provoking to get us to challenge things, to get us to grow outside of our comfort zone of accepting their version of history, their version of reality. Man, we can't even get past simple things like what should we call ourselves? We can't get past things like should we do 50-50?
That's crazy.
We can't get past that. We can't get past, well, do you believe that men should be able to classify themselves as women? We can't get past that. We can't get past arguing about our brethren that's in the other parts of the Americas. We can't even get past that. We still argue. I'm like, the Jamaicans really are our people. They just call themselves Jamaican. Nah, bro, I'm foundational Black American. Forget that. You a coward. You a traitor. Oh, okay, my bad, man. My bad. Let me get on up out of here.
I don't know. You can't do that.
Nah, I got blocked. People call me a traitor. You a sellout. You're not really foundational Black American. Oh my. Oh, now my ethnicity and my DNA changed because I said that when these Europeans came over here, there were already people in the Americas. And the people that are in the Americas that are dispersed outside of the main inland of the United States of America are our people too. No, man, that ain't true. No, we can't. Okay, cool.
You
It's
know,
that cognitive dissonance.
I be
Go
calling,
ahead.
they be calling me Tether. Me a Tether. I
Of
just called a
course.
Tether today. I don't think I was on the panel talking to. It was like a Black American, I think, and then like it was some white guys. And I think I was in there talking about like the race issue in America. Some black guy got on there and just instantly, you a tether, you ain't even Black American. I'm like, sir, I am not about to argue with you about that. I'm just not,
Right.
just not.
I got it. So now, if you are foundational Black American, you can't have no allegiance or allies or love anybody that's not foundational Black American.
Apparently,
And we have more in common in the Americas than we do with Africans. But I gotta hate my cousins. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I am a foundational Black American. My people built this country. You're right. But I could be foundational Black American and not hate Jamaicans and Caribbeans, and I could do that.
I agree. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like what do they call that? An echo chamber?
Yeah. I just feel like, why can't we just have a conversation? Like, I may learn something from you. You may learn something from me. Why can't we just sit down and have a conversation? Why because I disagree with you now I can't say nothing else without somebody interrupting me?
Because it don't make money. Drama is what fuels this platform. Conflict, drama, arguing, disruption, confusion, negativity. That's what fuels this app. That's how all of these people are getting paid. You got black folks that's indigenous, that's Indian, that's arguing with foundational black Americans. You got by ethnic, so called by ethnic. Your daddy was African, your mom was black, vice versa. Um, Arguing with people that are foundational black American. You got Hebrew Israelites arguing with against the Moors. You got the Moorish people arguing with the indigenous people. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got Christians. You got arguing with the Nation of Islam. You got traditional housewives arguing with the sister. You know what I'm
You
saying?
breaking
Like,
up.
am I breaking them now?
Not anymore.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
But no, you know what I'm saying. So it's what it feeds it. So they have these rooms to argue and debate. They don't have these rooms to learn. They don't have these rooms to grow and build. They don't have these to share information to get, to share someone's business. They don't. They don't. They don't have these rooms to talk about. Hey, what law is going on in your state that's going to impact you as a Black American?
Mm-mm.
They don't talk about that.
Mm-mm.
It's about what's going to cause the most controversy and get people in this room. And so I can get me some likes, I can get me some coins, I can get me some hearts, I can get me a what do they call that? That one where people be sending a galaxy. If you want to drop somebody, send a galaxy.
How about if
If anybody want to drop me to
just
say
say
on
that
the
about me?
send a galaxy up right now if y'all want to drop me.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, like
But I don't.
it's a way for people to.
That isn't fun. To sit there and listen to y'all argue, that ain't fun. I don't want to hear.
Nah, not when you have half a brain. You like, come on, man, this is nonsense.
This is.
If I was sitting in a room listening to people argue about nonsense for hours, I mean, they be doing this for hours upon hours. They like, but that's what fuels this app. That's what fuels this app, and it's on its way out, and
Oh,
it'll be replaced with something else.
you think so?
Yeah, because you got it's called control opposition. They got control of this app, and they knew where they wanted it to go, and they knew what they were going to allow, and they said, okay, we'll allow that as long as we can monitor what they're doing, because a lot of them are on there. Let's go see what they're doing, and then let's get control of the app, see what they're doing, change the algorithm, allow certain things, allow certain talking points, and as long as they say this and don't say that, it's fine. We'll allow it. Let them fight. Let them divide amongst themselves. Let them do it.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, and every once in a while, send somebody in a room to monitor and record and see what they're talking about and saying, and we'll take that information and gather it, and then we'll use it to our advantage, and then we'll go from there.
Right, and I definitely think they be sending people in there. Anytime we're about to have a productive conversation, they're definitely going to send somebody in there to rough the feathers. I think that's clear at this
Yeah.
point.
I've seen it all the time. We get to talking about something that's crucial, critical, thought provoking, and moving toward actually coming up with a conclusion. And then all of a sudden, here comes somebody in here. I'll be like, oh shit, here we go again.
Mhm.
And I'll call it. I'll be like, you don't think that this person is making the conversation, go sideways? They're bringing us off topic. It's not your turn. Be quiet. Oh my bad. I was just talking about, building black wealth and how we could, utilize our black dollars to build foundations that, could help empower the next generation. Y'all don't want to talk about that? No. Oh,
No,
okay, my bad.
absolutely not. Get out of here with that.
No. I mean, do we need one black billionaire or do we need 1,000 black millionaires?
That's
Well,
absolutely.
what you trying to say? You don't like Jay Z? You don't like Dr. Dre? You don't like Oprah Winfrey? I didn't say I didn't like them. I don't know them to dislike them or not. I'm saying instead of having one uber wealthy black person, can we have systems and methods that we put into play and power to make more black millionaires? It's already out there. You just got to go get it, man. You got to just stop being a broke nigga. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm saying, like, can we talk about, white labels? And I'm not talking about music industry. I'm saying white labels that build apps for you to copy almost what these other technological industries or apps are doing, like Uber. And can we talk about that and how we could come together and buy one or make one so that we could start our own rideshare platform and employ ourselves? Can y'all want to talk about that? Ain't nobody trying to hear that. That's some nerd stuff. Get out of here. Okay. But then you're going to complain about the prices. The Uber and Lyft is too high. Instead of creating something for us to control ourselves and provide for our people.
Now
Okay, it's great everybody's boycotting,
keep
the Asian store.
you trying to scam us.
Yeah, yeah. Remember we was in a room one time?
Yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah, that was me. When I was asking them for $20 and the girl said,
Yeah. She was like, why she keep on asking for money? I was like, hey, but I'm like, are y'all listening to what she's saying? If all of us donated some money, yeah, but how you know this gonna do this? And I'm a business owner, and as I was like, but you're not listening to what she's saying. She's proposing an idea that will help us combine our black dollars to build something for us. And y'all saying that she's trying to scam y'all?
out of $20.
$20.
Out of $20, King, I was so insulted.
$20.
What the hell am I gonna do?
But you gonna pay, right? I was like, but you gonna pay $20 for the Netflix with no ads?
With no ads. Absolutely.
With no, you gonna pay for that Prime membership, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. But she said let's
Absolutely.
combine our dollars, right? A million of us, or just a million of us, combine our black dollars, 20 million, so that we could start setting up and investing and allowing us to be able to go get money to fund our own ventures, our own businesses. And y'all saying she trying to scam y'all.
Out of
Okay.
$20. But they just want to have a
$20.
conversation. Come on now. Are you really gonna miss those $20? That was my guess, my issue. Like, are you gonna remember we spent $20 on BS? But that was
Yeah,
that
but
was
she was like, well, but that's something I want to spend my money on. I want to spend my money on that. How do I know if I give you $20? I don't know. You just seem like you're trying to scam people. And here she goes again with the $20. I was like, okay, here we go again with the $20. I was like, yeah. Can we get back to that $20? And they was like, nah, nah, nah. See, black people, the problem with black people and foundational black Americans, I was like, okay, okay, so y'all don't like, y'all don't like us. Y'all don't like that the idea was proposed by a foundational black American. Okay, well then just say that. Like I ain't got
I,
no problem with you, but just say that.
I see. So those were people. I thought they
Yeah,
were Black Americans. They wasn't Black Americans.
no,
They,
nah, nah, nah. No, no, they wasn't. And I was like, well, can we address the elephant in the room that the person that came up with the idea that will actually help us advance, y'all shutting her down? Y'all saying that it's not going to work? And they were trying to say, no, what black people need to do is get married and have a family and, blah, blah, blah. That's going to solve all of the problems. And, we need to invest in education. And I was like, okay, cool. With $20. Came right back around. Okay, you're right. Education, we're $20. How about we combine our money and resources instead of us going into debt? Get $20 for maybe a tenth of percent of the population of foundational Black Americans do that, so that we don't have to go through be in debt. We can start our own real, actual college fund for our children, so that our children can graduate debt free and take that money that they would spend on an education and buy land, buy a house, start a business, so that they start out ahead building generational wealth. Nah, we can't do that. That's not the solution. I was like, okay, well, shit. Fuck the $20, man.
Up to $20, I guess.
I was like, fuck the $20 there. Y'all right. I'm like, he trying to scam us. Like, okay, yeah, because you was like cash app, cash app. I was like, well, she didn't even give her cash app.
I
It's
wasn't.
just an idea.
I was just entertaining the idea. I really wasn't trying to like take no money right then and there. I would like for us to like come together and like
Right.
create a panel or some shit, a directory, or a director, a board or something. Like I don't want to be solely responsible for it because then I'm scamming.
Right. You just proposed the thought, the idea. This is a suggestion. This is what we could do. And they was like, nah, nah, nah. Nah. Now you're doing too much. Now you're doing too much.
Solutions,
But
absolutely.
you can go to because once we become solution based, it creates a problem. When we say, okay, we can keep all of this talking, we can do all this talking all day, but what can we do? And the problem that they had with you is that you were saying black people in America could do this, and they was like, no, it should be for all black people, and that's what created the problem.
I get that too. I get that too. So I get black people when I introduce that. I get black people in America, black Americans who say they not gonna work with me unless I include all black people, and then I also get black people who be like, if you include any other black people, I ain't down with that. I be like, what am I supposed to do?
Right. So, so you damned if you do, you damned if you
Damn
don't.
if I don't, damn if I do. Same old, same old.
If you Right. If you don't do something that only is going to benefit Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, then you're a tether.
Yep. Oh my God. Yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell them.
But then, but then, if you do something that says, okay, well, this is a solution for all Black people, you still a tether.
I'm still a tether.
So if it benefits foundational Black Americans and our Black cousins outside of the mainland, you still a tether.
I can't win for losing.
So
As you can
we
see.
can't win. So yeah. Because Jamaicans don't even know that we beefing. You go to Jamaica, they don't even know we beefing.
Absolutely not.
They're like, oh, we beefing? I thought we was just doing this through the Olympics. Y'all whoop our ass in the sprint. We whoop y'all ass in the sprint every 4 years. That's the beef right there. They like, nah, cuz we really beefing. Y'all trying to steal our identity. He like, brother, who's your identity, man? I'm like, me. He's like, no, man. Your identity. He's like, who are you, brother? I'm like, I'm Solomon. He goes, yes. Yes, you are. And he don't even know we beefing.
He don't know we beefing because we ain't beefing.
I don't even think, yeah, I don't even think I don't think people in the Caribbeans know we beefing.
It's
We
on
only beefing over
TikTok.
here.
We only beefing on TikTok, to be quite frank.
Oh, just look, online, TikTok, YouTube, we only beefing on social media.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm like, so if I'm a foundational black American and I go to Jamaica, am I gonna get beat up?
No.
No, brother. No, brother. You be welcome. You be welcome. Okay, so if a Jamaican come over here on vacation, do we need to beat him up?
We haven't.
But if they get on TikTok, hey, that's telling people, man, if you get on TikTok, just know you walking into a war zone.
For real. Dead ass
You
for
better
real.
walk into you better have a DNA test. You better have your genealogy. You better know what plantation your grandma was on, your grandpa was on. Um, you better know patch the stinky leg. You better
Dead
watch. You gotta know the quotes for all the soul food movies. You know what I'm saying? You better believe that they'll make Michael Jackson kids. You know, this is what you this is what you got to do when you walk into these rooms, and you gotta denounce anything that has to do with Umar Johnson. You gotta.
Nah, I like Dr. Umar.
This- Even with the double, we were repeating itself.
I love it because a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that shit. A lot of when they want you to remember something, they say that shit 3 times. There's some psychological shit behind it.
He'd be like, make sure that you fund that school. Fund that school. Fund that school. I'll be like, Umar, when that school gonna be done, bro? Like we've been
You know what?
my
He used to have an
when?
Instagram, but I don't know what. I think his Instagram got deleted or something shit. But that's where I used to keep up with it. But I have last time I heard him say something, he was like applying for the occupancy, but I don't follow. Since he not on Instagram, like I don't know where he at. I just get like videos on TikTok, on YouTube.
I never seen none of his material. Like I know he used to be real big on Instagram and YouTube, but then I just stopped seeing, a lot of the stuff he's saying. But the thing is like this. Some of the stuff he said is be really, really truthful. And then he'll go to that whole other side of him where I'll be like, come on, man.
It's the Pan African. Is that what you disagree with?
Yeah, when he do that, I'll be like, Umar, come on, Dr. Umar.
But he a Pan African is
Don't do
though.
that. I know, but I'll be like, come on, man. Like you had me up until you start talking about the dashiki swinging and all of that stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't wear dashikis. I ain't got no hair. So I don't know nothing about the root chakra antenna that's coming out. I don't know nothing about that, man. I said I just let some water hit my head and I'm out of there, bro. That's it.
You know, just
So
African as fuck.
I live, and you know where we live, so we can't be walking around with no dashiki. So, and then when he get there, and then he be like, what he tell? This is what he got me one day, and I'm like, till you stay on, you can love whoever you want to love. Boy, he wouldn't sit next to the white girl. I was like, come on, bro. I'm like, I was like, he wouldn't shake her hand, give her a hug, nothing. He was like, no, nope, I'm
I
good.
mean, am I hugging a YT person? I don't know. Probably not.
I know, but I was
Probably
like,
not.
You, I was like,
Why fake it though?
I was like, okay.
If I'm not gonna do it, why fake it?
But here's the thing: like, is he really doing this because he really standing on business, or is he really doing this because he like, no, I'm 100% pro black. That's it. That's just that.
I ain't hugging no YT person I don't know. I ain't even speaking to you.
He wouldn't even shake. That's just it. He wouldn't even shake her hand.
I don't know. I shake your hand. I
I was
treat
like,
you
oh
like
my,
any other human being. But you ain't getting no special privileges. I mean, I ain't
right, right.
nobody I don't know, you know. So yeah, I ain't gonna treat you like I'm gonna treat no black person.
Hey, when you get a chance, go look at the video. I was dying laughing. She tried to hug him. He was like, nah, 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 nah,
I
nope.
think I saw that he was doing the interview.
Yeah, I was like,
I saw it. I saw it. I follow him. I saw it. I don't blame him. Hell, I ain't doing that shit either. I would have been more upset if he would have faked it. If he would have hugged her just for the cameras. You know you don't fake. Well, you don't
right.
YT people like that. Why you hurt?
No, listen. That's what I like him. He do whether it's I don't know if it's an act or not. Well, whatever it is, whatever he do, he stand on business. He doing it. He's been portraying this act for so long. I believe him. Like he got an issue with the people. He 100%. You know, for his people, whatever whoever his people is, man. I think his people is whoever donate to him. That's his. That's his people, man. And you know, he probably got people that donate to him from Ireland. He don't even know it. He's just taking it. He just like it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know that Frederick Douglass School, you know, for leaders, for black leaders, it's gonna come here one day. It just take a while to build it. You know, you just gotta have patience.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, you just gotta have patience. You know, you just gotta have patience, man. And because my son almost 18, and you know, I was gonna send him there when he was 15, but it didn't happen. So it's gonna happen one day though. Maybe my grandson, my son, you know, have a child. He'll go there.
I can't tell you being
That's
funny.
cool. I mean, my bad. I'm being sarcastic as hell, man. I'm just
That's what
like
I'm saying. Like, I
that.
can't tell if you dead ass or are you playing.
No, I was just like, I was like, that's he
Yeah.
he cool, man. Oh, Dr. Umar cool. He has a character. He's like Charleston White.
No, Charleston White is a
You
cold.
know what I'm saying? Charleston. You say he a cool? They they on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Let's just say that.
Charleston White is
Charles
crazy.
White is.
A hot fucking mess.
You say he what?
He a hot mess. I really
Hey,
like
that man.
him. I just feel like he like
You don't find him. You don't find him entertaining.
no. I find him to be ignorant. I can't even watch him because he's so fucking slow. Like I literally cannot.
When I see him, I just be like, is this an act or is this real?
It's
Like, is
not.
he real?
It's for clicks and views. I think he say shit to like for clicks and likes, so he can go viral. Like he one of them people. Like
He he, he called that's they call it a shock jock. He a shock jock. He say stuff just to get a reaction out of people. Be like, what? Did you hear what he said?
exactly. I think we got a few of them. Like Ray J. I think Ray J one of them too. Ray J probably got some serious stuff going on. But Ray J say shit just to get a reaction out of people. I don't think he believe half the shit he be saying.
Nah, I think Ray J just lost. You know who like the ultimate Ray J a troll. I think Ray J just a troll and a leech. He just gonna be around people that's famous because he ain't really got no talent. You know, his time was over. If I had one wish, you
I was just about to say Ray J can't
know, he
sing.
had that. You know what I'm saying? He had that. He was on Moesha. He had this little acting thing. He had that one song. Then he had the Kim Kardashian, tape, and then he had, I think it was Housewives or something, or he was like him, Kevin Hart,
The house
the
husbands,
one,
some shit.
you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
the house husbands
Robin
of
Thicke,
Hollywood or the real house
House
husbands
Husbands,
or something like that.
the real House Husbands, or whatever it was. He was on there, and then him and Fabulous got into a fight. Fabulous beat him up. So he has his moments, and that's all he cares about because he can stay relevant. But the biggest troll of them all, what's that dude name that was that's so Raven? What's his
Orlando
name?
Brown.
Orlando Brown. That dude is goated. He's the troll of the trolls.
Hmm.
He's the one that he's the family member that you don't want to invite, but you have to invite him because he's gonna feel some type of way about it. So, and you don't want to hear it, so you invite him, but you know he gonna do something, and you like, man, fuck, who invited him? And then you got to pull him to the side. You know what I'm talking about? Then you got to pull him to the side. Hey, look, cuz, come here, yeah. Now look, I know how you get sometimes, but can you like just chill for the night? Can you please chill? I got you, cuz. I got you. And then you walk away, and then you see out the corner of your eye they doing something. That's Orlando Brown.
Good damn
That's the
well.
family member that you don't invite. Yep.
Yeah, he gonna feel some type of way if you don't
You know,
invite him, but he gonna act a fool every time.
you gonna feel so you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Because if you don't, because if you don't invite him, the next time you invite him, he gonna show out because he mad about the fact that you didn't invite him. So just invite him.
You
Yep.
gotta keep your eye on him.
And that's yep. Charleston White is the uncle that still think he 25.
Oh my God, that show it. He swear he a YN. I'm like, bro, you old
He
at
think
this point.
he like yeah he really out there doing it. He thugging out in the streets and doing all that stuff, and he beefing with rappers. And I'm like, but bro, you like 40, 47, 48? Like at some point we gotta and we unks now.
My old school at this point.
Like yeah, like
Damn.
we 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 the ones that doing the we show up and dance and everybody like look at unk. When you
Hmm.
get hit with unk, you gotta stop. You know, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like
crying.
once when somebody call you unk, you gotta be like, okay, enough is enough. I can't be out here.
I'm crying.
Cause cause 30, you not a YN when you 30. You like in that in between stage
Hmm.
where you know
You are not a
when
YN
you
at
when you
30. That's crazy.
nah, nah what well then what are you?
You an adult.
Okay, so if the YNs are the 20-year olds and the unks is the 40-year olds, then what's the 30-year olds? Are they
Yeah.
like are they like the hybrid?
They like, I ain't gonna call, they like nephews to like the
Oh, there you
yeah,
go.
to like the
Okay.
older
So
generation, to old school, they like nephews. You know, they not necessarily young enough to be my son, but they not old enough to be my
yeah,
brother. You know,
okay, so they in between you nephew. You my older nephew.
hey,
But
nephew.
you're not the bro. You the older nephew.
I'm sure it's a
Cause you phase out of the YN.
you definitely not a
You're in
YN
a
at 30.
we used to
You not a YN at 35. At 25, you not a YN. You need to get your together. You
nah.
not a YN. YNs are like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Once you hit 24, you got to get your together. You got to get together.
You
What you
gotta
gonna do?
you gotta get out. See we need to have a debate about this. See, I'll debate that. I'll go to one of them. Because I want to see what's gonna happen. I want to see who's gonna show up.
To what?
When do you stop being a YN? I want to have I want to be in the room and have a conversation where I ask, When do you? How old do you have to be before you are no longer considered a YN? Man,
Yeah.
that'll be like. I bet that'll be funny
What do you think the age range is?
for YN.
Yeah. How old is a YN?
I thought YN was 16 and like 22.
Yeah, me too. You not a YN at 24,
No,
25.
no, 20, 24, 25 is like, okay, you want kids? Like what you want to do for a career? You want to go to college? You got like 4 to 7 years to figure it out because 30 right around the corner. So you want a family, what you want to do. Because when you hit about 24, you got to make that decision as a man. You come to the crossroad, you got to make that decision because 30 right around the corner. And you can't be running the streets at 30. You can't be in the club popping bottles, with the 21-year-olds at 30. I mean, you can, but they're gonna be like,
Hmm.
who big brother is this? Who invited big bro?
And you gonna look older standing beside a 20 or a
Right.
21-year-old.
I stopped going out when I had 30, 31. I was like, okay, I can't do the clubs no more. You know, I didn't want to be that guy in the club at 30.
Definitely
I
a
was like, nah, I
30-year-old
can't do that no more.
activity. It's not a 30-year-old. Being in the club is not a 30-year-old activity. It's really not.
I had to go to the lounge. I had to find a lounge. Like, okay, it was a spot where we could dress up, we could go listen to some music, some live joints. You can, chill, sit down, have a conversation. Nobody was out there doing all that stuff. So, that's what a 30, 35 year olds was hanging out, 40s, you know, 40 to 50-year-olds. You might see an old head. We call them old heads back in the day. We didn't call them us, we just call them old heads. See an old head back in there every once in a while, you know. And then, you had pop outs. People, hey man, we about to go pop out, we're gonna have a cookout, you wanna slide through. That's where the 40-year-olds and the 50-year-olds they start hanging out at the home. We call it gatherings. We having a gather. It's levels to this. It's levels to it. You know, at 40 you start going to gatherings. You know, at 50, you start having what do they call them? Brunches, supper. You have a brunch.
Coming over for dinner.
You know, we coming over. Who coming over for dinner? Yeah, you gonna bring a dessert or something like that. At 60, ain't nobody coming over. We just gonna stay home and watch some damn TV.
Man, please.
That's it. We 60. We gonna either travel or sit at home and watch some TV. What we doing? You know. But that was typically the phases that we went through, and they still going to do it. They're gonna still go through these phases. It's just this generation having a hard time letting go of that YN phase because being a YN is cool.
And it's
You
exciting.
know, yeah. And everybody's like, "Ooh, it's a YN. They got superpowers." I'm like, no, they don't. You think they'll get their shit split?
Man.
Damn superpower. Half
And
of half of them can't even lift a dumbbell.
yeah, and they getting sentences. They getting sentences to these prisons. I mean, you 18 years old and you got like 20 years. Like, damn, bro, that's a long ass fucking
20.
time.
20.
You can go
I'm
to
talking
jail for
about
20 years, bro.
football numbers. They getting football numbers.
Mm. This is crazy.
But what's really interesting though about these younger guys is really a lot of the prison population decreasing.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they just sneakier about it or this
Well,
just a generation of men that's like, hmm?
crime is gone down.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, so what's the deal with the YNs? Why the YNs are getting the bad rap in this generation? When the crime rates going down, the prison population going down, they having less kids. They actually doing what we wanted.
They are doing better. I think they're getting a bad rep I also think that like they're like that's what we see. Like when it's we also looking at how young they are. Like when they are involved in these sort of activities, they tend to be very young. Like now we're getting like 14, 15, 16 year olds doing like pretty serious things, and I think that gives like the most news attention, even though it's not happening as much. But they also want to. They're also going to give us the perception that crime is so bad, so they have to broadcast these things.
Right. As you talking, I hear sirens in the back.
That
As you said,
fire station, that fire, it's gonna get bad too. Wait, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get loud and it's gonna get bad because they don't move.
it's an accident. What?
No, that's
What's
normal.
going on, guys?
That's normal. That's every day, all
Really?
day. Yeah, because there's a fire
Really?
station right there, and then a lot of times they have to cross through Central, and a lot of people don't want to stop. When these people, so then they get the blowing, and so then it just get loud. Then they sitting there blowing at people, and so usually you just hear the sirens, but then they get the blowing at people. That's what make it louder. But yeah, that's normal.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, man, I ain't never been on a live with you, and I hear.
Oh yeah, it's bad all
Like, oh,
day.
what's going on?
Oh, it's all day. That's
No,
all day. What's up, G Man?
you in you in the hood? You in the hood? Hood?
Hell yeah. Downtown is the hood. The ghetto. Very much
Is
so
it?
the ghetto.
No, it's not.
Shit.
Nah,
Shit. Yeah,
downtown.
downtown ghetto is hell.
I was there down the other night. I had to leave, man, because things didn't work out the way how I planned on them working out. I got humbled that day. Um, I had to go back home and look. And when I went back home, I had to take a Uber and $100.
Damn, now.
I know, I
Walk to
know.
Mesa before I
So
spent it.
you said you would have.
I would have walked to Mesa.
Hey, look, I thought
It
about
would have
that.
been possible. It would have been a principle for me. Uber got me fucked up. I am not giving you $100
Hey, look, I thought
to
about it. No, look, look. So I told the lady, I was like, I looked at her. I was like, okay, I gotta put my charm on right now, cause, I'm being cheap. I said, look, I said, you seem like a sweetheart. She's like, oh, you think so? I said, yeah, you do. I said, look, I said, why get them 50% of anything? I said, if it's $100, I said, well, how about, how about 40 and a smile? She said, okay. I said, I'm good to go now.
Mm-hmm.
I said I had to turn the charm on, man, because I wasn't about to walk. I said I can't walk.
Hell no, that's your fault.
I said, I said I give you 40 if you take me home, and a smile. She said, okay. I go $100
Okay.
from downtown Phoenix,
But
downtown Phoenix to Mesa, $100.
they be surging because I remember I was at one of the Cardinal game, not the Cardinal games, but one of the Suns games, and that's like 2 miles. Like I've walked down there before, like just walking. They like tried to charge me like $60 to get home. I'm like, sir, I would walk home. I am not giving you $60 to take me 2 miles on the street. I'm not.
Hey, look, um, I'm gonna hit you up though on the back end though because I got something I want to talk to you about. I got a proposal for something that I think is gonna really, really, really benefit a lot of people. So I wanna pick your brain about it a little bit. Um, but yeah, but it's right along the lines of what we're talking about. I don't want to say too much on here because that's how people ideas get stolen and stuff like that. But I got a business idea that's gonna shake up an industry that I want us to be a part of and be involved in. You know, and I think it's something that's long overdue.
All right, well that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the early stages. I'm still, well, I'm past the brainstorming. I got the logo. I got um, the web domain, all of those things. I got those things lined up. I just want to pick somebody's brain about it, and not only that, just what you just said is, I was like, okay, that's a sign right there. What you just said, I was like, that's a sign. Yeah, I need to move forward with this because I need to retire.
Thanks.
So I was like, I said, man, I got to retire, man. I said, I can't do it. I can't work till I'm 65. I thought I was, I can't do it. Respect to people that can,
At
I
40.
just can't do it.
I don't want to be working at 35.
Huh?
I don't want to be
No?
working at 40. I don't want to be working at 35. I don't want to be working at 34 and I turn 34 next week. I don't want to be working.
And you don't want to work.
Hell
You
no.
just you just want to you want to chill.
I do. I want to chill. I want to wake up and think about what I want to do. Whether do I want to go for a run? Do I want to go to walk? Do I want to go read? Do I want to go? I don't give a damn. I'll figure it out. I know. I'll never not know what to do. I'll never get bored. I'll always have
Right.
something to do. But I do not want to get up and go to
But
work
do I
every day.
do I want to go to work?
I do not want to go to
And
work.
people like, man, they like that's like they like, man, you lazy. I'm like, I'm not lazy. I've been working since I was 14. I am far from lazy. What I do know is that I don't want to work when I'm 65. I don't want to work when I'm 50. I said it's just I just can't see it, Like enough is enough. And I just think the only way to accomplish that goal is to, you know, make your dollars work for you versus working for dollars. And uh, we're in a stage right now, in our economy of developing right now that we don't even have to work. It's a choice at this point. It's really it's just a choice because there's so many ways to make a dollar right now. It's crazy.
Working for it is the worst way.
Man, like that's a conversation we need to really have. Is working slavery?
Absolutely. That's what I say. I'm back on the plantation.
I'm saying, man, I'll be like, here we go again. I wake up like, man, why you think? I'm like, man, I always thought it was a form of slavery. I'm gonna be honest with you.
To live is insane. Like I say God
Yeah.
gave us everything we needed to live and these white people got us working for it.
They said, nah, y'all ain't gonna just live it for free like that. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. Y'all was making us money and now y'all got free. And we know what happens when y'all get free. Y'all gonna probably want to make this a utopia.
You may want to be
And work.
free.
Nah, we not gonna let y'all do that.
You may want to start
They
start
want to
out.
be free.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to start a what do they call that? There was a doctor. It was what is it? It's like you live off the land. I forgot the name of it. It was a movement that was going on back in the day where people. Damn, I can't think of the name of it. You probably know it because you say you want to live off the land, right?
Mhm.
Well, he was saying that it was I can't think of the damn name of it. A society without money,
Like
something
bartering,
based economy.
a bartering system.
No, yeah, bartering, but you didn't have to. You didn't need money. The economy didn't run off of money, and it's a name. I can't think of the name of it, but he talked about it was like a something based economy where you didn't need money. You just, everything was ran. I forgot. It was a dude. It was a documentary from way back in the day. Wasn't that way back in the day, but probably like in 2000 and maybe 13, 14. The documentary came out. I want to say, and he was talking about it. I forgot the name of it though. I can't think of it. But when I do, I'm gonna hit you up and tell you the name of it, And you should look at the documentary. It's real interesting. But a lot of people are just doing, they just living off grid now. And we should talk about that though. Have you ever had an off grid topic? Just I wonder if black people really want to live off grid.
I don't know. I don't know. We
Because
ready to give up all of the convenience of city life, but I do know we want to be segregated.
he said, I know that part.
We want to be away from.
Because I've seen in Atlanta, I can't say in other cities, but they actually had a development, and he made these like tiny home developments, for black people. And people was like, "Oh, that's racist." I'm like, "Shut up, man!" They was trying to build an all white town, and then nobody say nothing about it.
They want us to be
Remember
racist.
that the dude was like, "Yeah, we try to do for ourselves is racist. Everybody else can do for themselves is self sustaining, is love of self, is cultural pride. Black people try to do for ourselves is racist.
But we messed everything.
We fall for y'all to be." Oh, what you gonna say?
I, I said we make everything about race.
So it's always gonna be about race. That's how they gonna make it. We love ourselves. That's racist. We want to do for our people. That's racist.
That's
We
racist.
want to start our own school. That's racist.
I think they have a they like the ideal of us being dependent on them, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. But you know what? I'm gonna get off live because I gotta. I'm going into another live. I share it to you.
Yeah. Share it with me. Share it with me. Let me see what other people are doing. Because I was gonna start one. I was like, nah, I ain't got the energy to host right now.
See, that's what I'm finna. It's just this. It's just a live I go in at night. It's. I'll share it to you though.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah, it's usually good. It just depends. See, I gotta go in there and moderate. If I don't moderate, then it's not gonna be good.
Okay. Okay. But hey, I'm gonna hit you up on the back end though, because I gotta respond to something that you did ask me. I'm gonna hit you up on the back end.
All right, sounds good.
All right.